What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ.
And I'm Diggins.
The gang's all here. This is Mostly Nitpicking. Woo!
We're back, baby.
Every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. We have both DJ Diggins and me, so it's like both of the last week's.
We have both of the three of us.
Yeah, everybody that was not here 1 week is back, baby.
Let's do it. So
Because
good to be back.
It's good to have you, especially considering the events of the space thing that happened to you, so you know what they are. Can you give us a summary of what it was like, by the way, after the space wedding, and you flew off with the dog man?
It was magical. I spent 2 months in space time with the dog man, and I loved every second of it. But the dog man said, DJ, bark, bark. It's time to go, bark, bark.
Oh, my God. He shot at you. Is that what happened?
Wow. Was it like at the end of Harry and the Hendersons where it was like he was just trying to chase you away by pretending he hated you but secretly still loved you?
Yeah, I think that was it, because I still had feelings, obviously. So he said, but I have to send you home back to Earth so you can spend time with your Earth wife. So he teleported me back, and here I am.
Wow. You definitely know what happened to you because you know the movie and have seen it.
Yeah.
I did this to Diggins last week, too. I was like, what was it like in the events of the movie you didn't see?
Yeah.
And, he kind of seemed to kind of half know. But
turns out I did not, so all right.
The barking is, I know this may be confusing to you and also the listeners who didn't listen to last week's episode. His dog, his gun barks because he is part dog. So when you said bark, I was like, oh, he shot at you. Yeah. This is probably Diggins' favorite detail of the movie.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. Which is fair. It's a great detail. But it's wonderful to have everybody back because we have a movie to talk about this week that is one of the movies people have been requesting for a while for some reason. Probably ever since the first time we talked about Invisible Men, which was probably the first Invisible Man, like the movie with Elizabeth, whatever. Moss.
I was going to say, we've never talked about the first Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first time we talked... Yeah. I know what you mean. But even since then, we've probably also talked about other modes of camouflage, some of which are, do exist in the Jupiter Ascendiverse.
Plus your blatant hubris that you think you could defeat an Invisible Man.
We're going to talk about this.
Destroy him.
Oh,
I mean,
my God.
For anyone that's seen this movie, they could destroy him so quickly. He is nothing. There is nothing special about him.
We're going to talk about it, and you are so wrong.
They make every mistake in the book. It's like
really?
Watching...
Because I feel like they use several of the tactics that you claim would be invincible.
Yeah, I agree.
And yet,
I mean, we'll get to it, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good one. Speaking of, before we get to that, how's everybody been? How's everyone actual last week and such been?
Oh yeah, good, right?
I mean, we still live in Hell World.
Oh my goodness!
But we may live in slightly less Hell World soon.
No,
or
it'll still be
more.
Hell World.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll escape from Hell World one boss at a time. It'll be much like a certain game that who knows, we may recommend at some point.
I'm so mad that it already had been wrecked.
Maybe you should have been here instead of out in space with your dog man.
Yeah.
Well, fair.
But how about this real quick before we get to it? I did want to we were chatting about something. By the way, you guys may have seen on the feed because it will be out by now. We did an emergency Quibi episode because Quibi is gone or is going to be gone.
Rip in peace.
Maybe it's been gone for a while. No one checked. I haven't even been on Quibi in a while, which means like there's nobody there but the people that are on the
loyal
Quibi
customer.
Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to change I have a Patreon tier that's like I'll do a Quibi video, and now I probably won't anymore. I'll have to figure out a new thing, whatever the next Quibi is. There's always another Quibi in the works. But I did want to... We were talking about this before the show. DJ hasn't been super connected to Twitter today, and probably... I think it was just today, actually. So he probably doesn't know about the actor that has been added to Zack Snyder's Justice League reshoot, whatever the heck it's called, the Snyder Cuts?
He does not.
So I want DJ to take a guess, kind of, with a little bit of like...
I want to again reiterate before DJ guesses that we're talking about an actor who was added to the reshoots to purportedly already completed Snyder Cut.
Exactly. They were going to release it, but now they're going to double release it with even this guy now. It's a really weird... I don't think this was what anyone was asking for. I don't think there was anyone who saw... I guess there's one person, but I don't think there were very many people that saw the original Justice League and were like, well, where's he? DJ, do you want to take a guess? What's the only actor who can maybe make the Snyder Cut worse somehow?
Okay, and it's
by
not...
actor, I mean character, I guess, so yeah.
And it's not...
the actor-character combination is very important.
That is true.
Okay, is it Jesse Eisenberg?
No. He's already technically in it. As in the post-credits scene. This is someone who is not involved at all.
Oh, my goodness. And would make it worse.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Or better. As Invader Zim said when him and the Tallest are talking about the fires he made.
Okay.
Yeah, it will be more interesting now, probably, but also a little more insufferable.
So I'm trying to think of the greater DC universe. Oh my god, is it Jared Leto Joker?
It is Jared Leto Joker.
Oh, no.
Yes, 30
Perhaps
Snyders
the
to cut
only...
zone.
The only DCEU character that not even the superfans were clamoring for.
Oh, God.
He's the only DCEU character that I can think of that has been recast in the 2 movies he's been in, because the actor wasn't they couldn't even make the Harley Quinn movie if he was in it. So they got the back of his head.
Did he celebrate by mailing condoms to everybody?
Oh my god.
Here you go.
I can't even imagine. I don't know how long this has been in the works for, but I would love it if some members of the thing were like, actually, hey, I don't think we need any more Wonder Woman reshoots. I'm good. You good, Jason Momoa? Yeah, you know what? Actually, the Aquaman scenes are pretty good. I don't even know what could he possibly do in it. He has no part to play. This isn't like him and... It's not like there's a scene where Batman was like, I gotta go check on the Joker real quick. And we just didn't see that scene. He's I don't know, out doing crimes or something? What could he possibly do?
We're going to add a scene where the Batman goes, I got to go check on the Joker real quick.
hey, guys. I know that there's a big monster just terrorizing the world, and Superman is dead, but this weirdo clown guy, I just got to take care of this. Is that cool? Hey, Flash, is that cool? All right, great.
Yeah,
actually, no. What happens is halfway through the movie, Batman pulls up a video on his computer.
Oh, yeah.
That shows about a minute's worth of footage of the Joker. And then he closes it and is like, well, I guess the movie should continue now.
Well, they could do that, too, because this could be an attempt, and if I had to guess it why, it's because they want to make the Ayer cut, which is this, and if this is only something that exists in the deepest, reaches of Twitter, the David Ayer What If Suicide Squad was good movie. And I think they want to make this, Joker so cool and everyone loves him that it's oh, now I need to see the movie that this Joker is mostly in, because David Ayer has said, and I'm pretty sure Jared Leto said this too, that there's lots of Joker stuff on the cutting room floor that we didn't see. Ooh. So I'll bet that's what it is.
Is the new thing, instead of reboots, it's recuts? But I just like you said, Diggins, this movie was supposed to exist, right? The Snyder Cut was supposed to be locked in the Warner Brothers vault.
The narrative was that Zack Snyder had cut together his version of the movie. It was done, ready to go, could be released at the drop of a hat, and Warner Brothers just wouldn't do it.
And he said to someone, I've seen this on video at a signing, they were like, is the Snyder Cut real? And he's like, yeah, it's real. It's there. So he's stirring this narrative up. And he's always putting out little what are those things called? The little drawings
Quibbies?
they do. Quibbies, yeah, if only.
Storyboards?
Storyboards. Yeah, he's always putting out storyboards like, oh, yeah, this scene. Oh, you guys would have loved it. But now it just seems like they're doing a completely different movie that's just what if it was any good. And it could be funny. What if they kill him? What if they drown the Joker in a tub for 20 minutes? That would be pretty fun.
That would be a marketing
slowly.
The Zack Snyder theory is what if it was any good. The in reality theory is probably going to be what if it was even worse.
Well, but it's okay. So what if they did? What is there anything that you guys would like to see the Joker do, or like to see happen to this Joker besides being drowned in the tub? What else? Like, I think it would be funny if someone hit him real hard, like Aquaman or something, knocked all his gold teeth out.
I think it would be fun if Superman just took a big dump on his chest.
For sex reasons?
No, because it's like, I hate you, Joker, and just,
I think it would be funny if this Joker slipped on a banana peel and then fell face first, like down some stairs, and then when he got to the bottom, he tried to get back up and like act like nothing happened, but then his pants fall down and everyone sees his wiener and they laugh at him.
I want you. I'm sorry, Nando. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, can he fall down those classic Joker stairs to like the Pump Up Jam song from Basketball?
Absolutely.
Bow now, and then just bam, 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 bam. I mean, I feel like that's very possible. Because fuck it, why not? Who knows? Who knows what this is? What were you gonna want? Throw in DJ?
I changed mine. I want Borat to interview him and to trick him into a room, and then I want the Joker to pleasure himself in a sex act and look like a goddamn fool.
He does. It does seem like something he would do.
I want the Joker to be on a Zoom call with all the other bad villains, and then while he thinks his video is turned off, he just starts cranking his hog. And Scarecrow has to be like, Joker, I hate to bother you, but...
Oh, God. This has gone off the rails. So, the Joker is in the Suicide Squad movie. Hooray.
You mean the Zack Snyder Justice League?
Sorry, the Justice League movie. Yeah, I can't.
It is unfortunate he's in Suicide Squad. He's terrible.
I mean, maybe they're going for an Oscar play. They want to get that best makeup costume design Oscar again. Or something.
Yeah. I don't think the Snyder Cut is going to be eligible for Oscars.
Yeah, that's what you say now. But like in a couple of years when there's no movies, they'll be scraping the bottom of the barrel.
I was going to say it's thinning out, right? Movies are going to be a thing of the past. We're going to have to explain to our kids what a movie was. It's like, well,
maybe this will win like best adaptation of a movie or something, like a new category for all these reboots and reshoots and stuff, repurposings. But that's a thing that happened, and we're all worse off for it. But you know what we're not worse off for, you guys?
What's that?
The Hollow Man movie. That's
the Hollow Man.
Debatable.
The Hollow Man. We watched The Hollow Man.
Yeah, that's true. This movie's terrible.
It's so great. We watched Hollow Man.
I don't think this movie's even terrible. It's just not very good.
It's so awesome. It's got all the like 2000s mainstays, crazy music, all kinds. It's so edgy. You guys just can't handle it, you know?
It's
cool
true.
Hollow Man stuff. And relatable characters. We all love.
It has DC-based inappropriate sex jokes.
Oh my god, it has so much of that. It has characters that are just unlikable from the start, so you can watch them get killed and go like, oh, okay. And it's also got what's his name? Greg Grunberg. That guy from all the J.J. Abrams stuff. J.J. Abrams' best friend.
Oh.
He's the one that reads the pornos while he's watching babysitting Hollow Man.
Oh, yeah. Cool guy.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with him.
This movie's weirdly horny, too. Just want to throw that out there.
So horny. It's like a, I don't know, it's like a borderline, it's like pornography. It's as close as we're getting to that on this show.
It's a slasher movie. This is a slasher movie, and like all slasher movies, they bust out a boob every 20 minutes.
That's fair. Although,
it busts out that boob, but then it busts out that CGI floppy dick.
That CGI Kevin Bacon dick. Yeah, hell yeah.
Well, and then there's also just all of the very uncomfortable flirting between Kevin Bacon and Elizabeth Shue.
And
well, you call it flirting, but it's really more like menacing threats.
Yes. Well, in the very beginning, it's enough menacing threats that you're like, this is weird. But as it continues, and you're like, you're at work, dude. Like it never stops. There's no off switch. He's always doing something weird.
Yeah,
It's so weird how this character, who seemingly has it all, he just can't find. He has no outlets besides just like fucking with these 3 female coworkers.
And yeah, that's the thing. It's like it's a very like rapey, uncomfortable movie. Also, like,
oh yeah, don't watch this movie if you don't want to see that. This is like
it
is. Oh, not like you don't want to see that. It's an uncomfortable movie. It's not like you. It's not not good. But it is a movie that came out in 2000, directed by Paul Verhoeven, starring Kevin Bacon, Elizabeth Shue, and Josh Brolin. I
was shocked that it was directed by Paul Verhoeven. I had no idea.
What do you guys think? Speaking of things you have no idea about, what do you think the IMDb summary is? We'll start with DJ.
Okay,
since he is new to the show.
Oh, big F here. Okay, after God. While all right, go basic. After experimenting a new kind of science on himself, Mr. Scientist becomes invisible and unperceivable to the human eye. And his team of scientists must help make him visible again before terrible events take place. That was horrible. I'm sorry.
Experimenting a new kind of science.
I mean, to be fair, DJ did see the movie. Those could be words from it. We're experimenting a new kind of science, Elizabeth Shue. I can't wait for government. It's science time.
The way they talk to the general is like pretty nonsense, but whatever.
Diggins, what do you got? I'm not gonna listen, DJ. It wasn't the worst one I've ever heard. Diggins, what do you got?
A brilliant scientist tests his invisibility serum on himself, but then goes mad with power.
So yeah, Diggins is better, but DJ got a lot of good phrases in there. You had team of scientists, you had experiment, invisibility. Test subject, you had a lot of good stuff. But yeah, Diggins was the one who actually got the bit where the movie is just him going crazy and stuff. It reads, when the leader of a team of scientists volunteers to be the test subject, for their experiment in human invisibility, he slowly unravels and turns against them with horrific consequences.
I got team of scientists, so there's that.
You did get team of scientists.
Where was your
with
team of
sexy
scientists?
Results.
Very uncomfortable results.
Yeah, actually, it's bad to watch.
This is a weird movie. It does feel very 2000s-y, though. I don't know what
absolutely.
it is about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's the dialogue.
Yeah.
It's the fact that Elizabeth Shue is in it.
Yeah. I mean, she is in
Boys.
Boys, yeah. So I kind of I half recognize her more from that than from Karate Kid now, because that's just more recent in my mind. Although there's probably about the same amount of time between The Boys in this and that and Karate Kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably like 18 years between both. Josh Brolin was a nice surprise.
I loved, first of all, Josh Brolin fucking cut. Like,
yeah, the scientists in this movie are fucking sexy. Don't get me wrong. It's a very sexy science lad.
So, but he just was so like handsome and charming, and like for me, I loved Josh Brolin in this movie. It was just so nice to see.
Really?
Yeah, I loved him.
Okay.
He made the biggest mistake of the movie, I'll say, in terms of science and how to kill a Hollow Man. But I agree, his character was probably the most likable.
Did you not like Josh Brolin, Diggins?
I didn't dislike him. I just didn't think he was particularly remarkable.
But Josh Brolin, I don't know. Did he like charm me because I've loved all of his recent work that I just see a younger version and I'm like, oh, I love you. Like, is that what happened?
I mean, I think he's the only character that's consistently like, you probably shouldn't do this the whole movie. And every other character in the movie is either like, nah, you should, or like, all right, I'm going to let him see what he wants. So I guess that's why I liked him the most, besides the fact that his character's name was Matthew. We hear it a lot. as the movie progresses, and it is very good to hear.
Matthew and Sebastian
Kane, science man who does the science. He's the scientist who wears a fucking trench coat and black glasses and drives around in his, like,
Porsche
I don't know.
or whatever.
It's a Porsche.
Yeah.
They name check it at one point. It's a Porsche.
Teeny tiny little roadster, or not roadster, convertible through the streets of DC. It's cool and metal as you can imagine.
Also, we get a peek at that sweet ass several times.
Oh,
and
peak.
that dick, like, oh
You
my
get a whole,
god,
like,
No, okay.
and listen,
No, we get a peek at CGI recreations of that ass and that dick, but we get a peek at that real ass many times.
we get a whole eye full of the ass,
Yeah.
and it's even like that's part of it. It's part of how he's a weird creep. But
also, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Nando.
I was just gonna say it's good for him, I guess. He's doing fine. He seems to like be comfortable in his own skin, you know.
Haha.
Yeah, maybe a little too comfortable, but still pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he probably needs to tone it back with the how much you love yourself kind of deal. You know,
Yeah.
kind of an a-hole.
Oh yeah, he's the worst. I mean, it's good. He's a very unlikable character, which is kind of fun. But he just is unstoppably, like, he is both invisible, but also he has, like, he cannot fail.
Apparently,
He's the luckiest
becoming
man that ever
invisible makes you, like, have superhuman endurance.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
First of all, okay, real quick, I want to start here.
Okay.
The movie is called Hollow Man. He is not a Hollow Man.
Nope, not at all.
Well, I mean, metaphorically, one could say that his lack of principles and regard for his fellow man makes him hollow, like morally and spiritually.
Sure. But it would be weird if they named the experiment that as well. He is an empty man, maybe, or something like that. But hollow implies that, like, I don't know. It's just such a weird name. And I guess it only works when he has this little plastic Deadpool face on. But still, not a fan of that name. Did they use it in the movie?
Nope.
This is not a movie where the title of the movie is said in the movie, and therefore it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is
Strong
its
take.
greatest mistake. There should have been at least one scene at the third of the way through when he's like, I have become the Hollow Man, or something like that.
Yeah. If there
never
isn't a
say that.
point in the movie where I can turn to the person I'm watching the movie with and whisper to them, that's the name of the movie, then that movie sucks.
Wow. That's a take, my good sir.
It's a real shame, you know? I think more movies are doing it now. It's great. I'll even give them a little bit of, like, leeway in terms of how they phrase the title. So, like, if he was going to say, I'm going to become hollow, and then, like, comma, man, I'd live with it. Or even if he was like, I'm the hollowest man that ever lived, I'd also be fine with that. But, yeah, I don't even think the word hollow was uttered once.
Disappointing.
Yeah, not great. But yeah, this movie is made by Paul Verhoeven. So for people that don't know, he's the RoboCop guy. He's Starship Troopers. What else has he made? He's like that. He's Total Recall. He's great.
He is great. Paul Verhoeven, I love his work, generally.
And I think this is not... I don't think this is badly directed or anything. Like, I think it's just generally wrong-headed.
But it's
but
bad.
Like, kind of. I don't know. What's the problem with this movie?
Here's...
Go ahead, Diggins.
Are you sure you can go first?
So I think the biggest problem is that we spend so much of the movie with a lot of, like, nonsense, like getting to our Hollow Man, and then we kind of, like, ping pong back and forth between, like, the Hollow Man is a threat, and then, oh no, he's fine, everything's cool here. Like, they miss a lot of opportunities to shut him down, and I don't mean shut him down in, like, oh, we have a Hollow Man on the loose. I mean, like, we have a disturbed individual who, while he is visible, we need to, like, send to jail. And then it careens toward the end where all of the, and we'll get to it, like, quote-unquote, defeat and Invisible Man parts of the movie just, like, come at the end, and it's a horribly paced movie. This is probably one of the, like, poorly paced movies we've done in recently.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to necessarily disagree. I think the pacing of this movie wasn't bad. I don't know. I think you get right to the Hollow Man point. Like, he's like, they're like, we can make a Hollow Man, and then next scene later, he's like, I think I'm gonna go do a Hollow Man, and then he does it, and then he goes, I think maybe there's a little bit, I don't know, I like the slow burn of like the second act where he's just going crazy, because the third act is just like the slasher movie part of it. Maybe even like the middle of the third act, or the middle of the or the end of the second act is also slashery. But I don't know, when they got down to the base the last time and we're like, all right, the movie's gonna end, like, no more time is gonna pass, this is it, I was like, oh wow, I'm glad we're here now already, we can enjoy some fun Invisible Manning.
Yeah, I guess I actually wanted like more of that. Like, I understand that, like, okay, you're just going to kill everyone at the end now because it's the, like, slasher murder, part of the movie. But, like, I feel like there could have been a thing where, like, when you kill off one of the first people, where the guy could have made it seem like an accident, and it's like, oh my god, what happened? And it's like this weird, like, more sinister-y horror kind of mystery deal where it's like, oh no, it's just a shame that accident happened, but everyone's like, oh, this is weird. And they're like finding different things, and the girl could be like, I'm worried about Sebastian. You know, the first night he was Invisible Man, he like felt me up. It's like, oh my god, like, you know, things like that, where it felt like there were more consequences, but it just seemed like shit was happening, and we just moved from scene to scene, and there was very little cohesion. And thus I felt the pacing was kind of poor.
I see what you mean there. Maybe it would have worked a little bit better if Sebastian wasn't such an absolute nutcase from frame one.
Yeah, that's like, so what I think is wrong, I think there are two things wrong with this movie, one mechanically and one conceptually. Mechanically is pretty much what DJ was saying there, which is that, or what DJ and you were just saying there, that he just doesn't, there's no like arc to him becoming power mad and crazy. It's just kind of right away. Like, as soon as he starts indulging in Invisible Man power, he just jumps to full, from 0 to 60, like, worst he can possibly do. And there's no, like, build up to it. There's no sense of it, like, corrupting him, or, like, of him, like, slowly indulging his impulses as he gets worse and worse. It's just, like, the second he realizes, oh, I'm invisible, he just becomes the worst possible person.
Yeah, that is true. What was the other problem?
Conceptually, I say this because this movie is directed by Paul Verhoeven, and also because I think the beginning kind of hints at doing this in a way that the rest of the movie doesn't follow up on, which is that it feels at first like it's trying to be a little more satirical and pointed in terms of commenting on misogyny and, like, airs of sexual misconduct and, like, the power dynamics at play there, like what makes people want to do that and how it's all deeply fucked up, but which is absolutely the sort of thing Paul Verhoeven does in his movies. He takes, like, RoboCop is a satire that takes these ideas of corporate privatization and, like, the Reagan era conservative lean in American politics, and just, like, takes it to its extreme and satires it that way. But this movie doesn't really feel like it's a satire in the end. It feels like it's mostly just lurid, like a slasher movie, where it's just like indulging in showing these things with the excuse of, well, he's the bad guy and he's doing bad things. You're supposed to think it's bad. But it's like, but you're still just showing it, though. Like,
I agree with that. I do think I don't know. I think you're supposed... I don't know. There's bits where you see first-person Invisible Manning where you're like, ooh, this is not good. But how much of that is, you know, based on who's watching it? And
yeah. The movie has hints of it, but I just don't think it does it successfully.
Also, you're wrong. RoboCop is about what if a cop had a gun and was a robot, and how cool would that be? I think you're reading a little bit too far into it. But yeah, I don't know what it is either, because I think I think it really is just whatever his name is, Kane.
Sebastian.
Sebastian Kane.
Yeah, it's like he is such a terrible character. I think if there was more, I don't know, if there was more of a slow burn with him, if he wasn't such a jerk, and maybe if he was, like, kind of nice, and Josh Brolin seemed like a jerk in the beginning of the movie, and then by the end, you're like, oh, never mind, this guy's a weirdo, like, creep, and the Invisible Man power's gone to his head, then you'd have something. On a technical level, I think there were bits of it that were interesting. I think as far as Invisible Man movies, it has taken the most direct shot at what if you had to fight an Invisible Man. And I enjoyed that, but I still don't think it was very good. Like, I enjoyed them trying to do it and characters having plans, but I also don't enjoy that the plans were all incredibly stupid. And like, you know, you're still kind of yelling at the characters who are splitting up as they're being hunted by the thing, and you're like, come on, man. But I don't know. I think the movie, it does turn into just like a slasher movie, but I didn't hate it. I don't know. It's weird.
I will say, from a practical standpoint, I did not love that for half of the movie, Kevin Bacon's nostrils were covered, so it made him sound all nasally, and I was like...
were his nostrils covered?
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't cut those, but it was bad.
I was equally confused by that.
And just like, half the movie's like, hello, I'm Sebastian Cain. And I'm like, oh, God, it legit bothered me. I don't know if that was just me, but I did not care for it. Anyway.
I will say this movie was nominated for an Oscar for its visual effects. So
what did it lose to?
2000.
Gladiator?
Shakespeare in Love. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, probably Gladiator, right? What else was 2000? I think the visual effects were pretty good.
For 2000, they were pretty good.
Yeah, there were some that were like, you know, bits where the gorilla was going invisible, where I was like, okay, this is not like this is fake, because obviously it's fake, but like in a 2019, 2020 world, I'd imagine more, like I'd expect more, but I think they did enough with those visuals to make it like kind of, I don't know, it's kind of cool to watch, like the nervous system and then the skeletal system and all that stuff. But also, I think most of the invisible effects were good until they were just an invisible guy, like walking through a hallway full of steam. I did like the him without eyes and mouth, which is a simple effect when you really get down to it, because I had a picture before of what he looks like, and it's just him with that on and then a green screen, and then they just get rid of the stuff, you know, like it doesn't seem that hard to do, but it does look pretty cool. And I'll show you, here's the image. I'm going to put it in the chat. But yeah, I think visually I was pretty impressed. I hated most of the characters, but also like they didn't have to be. I think what's her name was fine. Elizabeth Shue was fine. I like Josh Brolin enough. I think almost everyone else was just kind of a one-dimensional horror movie character, but
they were there to die.
To be. Yeah.
I thought the redhead was bad. She's
God,
her line delivery and just I did not care for her.
Who is that, by the way? I feel like
Kim
I should.
Dickens. It's in the thing you just.
No, yeah, but who is she?
I know, but like, should I know her from stuff? I feel like she's the detective in Gone Girl. But is she the detective or a detective? Not clear.
And does she act any better? Because
Tremmy, Sons of Anarchy.
Rough.
I don't know. I mean, she's not, not terrible or anything, but I couldn't stand that haircut, but that's just me. It didn't feel like in the, it looked weird in the 2000s, I feel like. But she was the one that was mean to him. However, she had the best Invisible Man ideas. And
That's true.
I wish she lived longer to kind of help the rest of the team through their bullshit.
And yet somehow, Nando, those Invisible Man ideas didn't work.
Oh, how about that?
Crazy.
But she had some of the best and she had some of the best and some of the worst Invisible Man things.
Oh, yeah, now you're walking it back. Okay, yeah, sure, whatever.
She employed one of two strategies that made sense. The other one was employed by Elizabeth Shue. Let's say three if you're counting. Something that Josh Brolin does once that almost kind of works. However, all of those characters also made a crazy horror movie mistake that allowed them to be screwed over in a way that I just can't co-sign as the Invisible Man expert here. We'll get to it. What did you guys think of this movie?
Yeah, mostly bad.
I think it starts kind of interesting and then quickly becomes boring.
Yeah, it really devolves. They try making Kevin Bacon's character, Sebastian Cain, this complex guy, but it's not like he's doing God's work, right? He's trying to make invisibleness, but
for the military.
He is God. Right. He's doing his own work. He is the man of God.
But I feel like in the beginning they tried to be like, all right, let's try and make a semi-complex character who's like kind of a dick, but he's a smart scientist who's kind of likable.
Really? I thought he was the worst.
No, early in the movie.
Oh, interesting.
I think before he starts aggressively hitting on Elizabeth Shue, I'm like, oh, this guy's kind of a dick, but in a kind of charming Dr. House sort of way.
Yeah, he's not like a murderer.
Yeah.
I thought he was I think I don't know, there were some bits where I was this character is just so unlikable that I don't know. I thought it was so creepy for minute one and just weird. I don't know. Kevin Bacon seems like a strange choice for this character because he is the cool happening dude who who everyone wants to see his sweet ass
and dick.
And then do they do.
So obviously as the movie goes on, it's he's horrible, but I feel like if they tried to make him a more complex character, it might have provided for a better movie, but then it was fuck it.
Oh, yeah. That's how you make this movie good, is by making him less bad. But, it's I don't know.
I will say, for an Invisible Man movie, I found this, pretty boring. This movie ain't got shit on the Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss that came out.
That movie's good.
Right.
And this movie is not.
Right. But I mean, it's. I don't even think this movie's. I don't know. Maybe it's mediocre. I just don't have strong feelings on it. I just kind of default to it's bad because I didn't really enjoy it, and actually thought it was too long too. But
it was on the long side.
Yeah, almost 2 hours. That's a lot, especially
with commercials on NBC's Peacock app.
Yeah. So yeah, I just kind of default to bad. So that's where I'm at. I'll stop talking.
I feel like so I don't like this movie, but I don't hate it. I think it was not as good as the Elizabeth Moss one, but I think it was a different kind of movie, and it didn't do its things as well. But the Elizabeth Moss one had no first person invisible manning. And this one did, and that's kind of interesting.
That one was from the perspective of the victim. This one is really much more from the perspective of the Invisible Man.
But yeah, I don't think this movie delivered on that as well as hers delivered on that. But I think
absolutely
it could be done. I think the bones of this movie are here.
That's what the original Invisible Man was. It was from the perspective of the Invisible Man.
So have you read the original Invisible Man, or do you know kind of the details? Because it seems similar to the original Invisible Man, but I
haven't read it, but from my understanding, it's very Jekyll and Hyde, where it's freed from the constraints of society. He quickly indulges all his worst impulses and is a bad person until the police kill him.
Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. He's a scientist who makes it too, right? He comes up with the formula as opposed to optics billionaire with the suit of magic invisibility.
I believe so, yeah.
I feel like this feels very much like a pretty direct adaptation of the Invisible Man book, but for those modern times we live in. Gosh, I don't know. Where do you want to start with this?
Well, Diggins, what did you think of the movie? I don't know.
What did you think? Yeah.
I mean, I mostly agree with TJ. It's not a horrible movie, but it's not that interesting. It's not that fun as a slasher movie, and then it's not that good as a serious movie. So it just kind of ends up being eh.
And it's not one of those bad Blumhouse movies that's oh my god, they tried for something but failed, but the results are hilarious.
Yeah, it's just kind of mediocre.
It has its moments that I think are pretty hilarious. Not hilarious, but that got me laughing. I should have written down what they were. But there were quite a few that had me laugh out loud. What? Oh, I know. There were some, and it wasn't. I guess for me, laughing, it wasn't what poor execution. It was what a crazy extreme this character is gone to immediately, or what a bad horror movie decision another character made. But all right, let's start in the beginning. This movie has horrible titles. I hate them so much. Do you guys remember them?
Oh no,
titles?
Not at all.
Yeah, the
opening, you mean at the beginning?
Yeah, the intro. It's little letters floating around in space,
and there's molecules, right, or cells or some
shit.
Yeah,
but then the molecules are, and I don't want to stay on this for too long, but it's horrible. If anyone wants to look at it, the molecules are letters. Clearly, it's not fancy. It's they're plain old letters. And they reform and stuff. and into words, and then when they become a word, the word that is the word that they are, so like Hollow Man or Kevin Bacon, appears above it in like, you know, some sort of 2000s fonts written out. So for a second, you have the word in both versions on the screen clearly. It's very stupid. Like this is here. I'm clipping this and I'm gonna put it in our chat. This is the intro, like what the title for Hollow Man looks like, and it's kind of subtle. See if you can find the word Hollow Man is in there at least once, maybe twice. So I'm going to put it in our chat. Here we go.
I have the movie up and I'm watching it right now. And yeah, you're right.
It's fucking hideous. I don't know what they thought. Like, if they were like, this will be so cool, no one will be able to see it. Like, it's so clever.
This feels like the CGI people were like, oh, we're going to do cool opening credits. And then they like had a test screening and people couldn't read it. So then they added the other credits.
Right? And it's like, it wouldn't bother me as much if it wasn't like 2 minutes of like, you know, costume designer, music composer. If it was just like the word Hollow Man a couple times and like, you know, Kevin Bacon, maybe not Hollow Man a couple times, but if it were like, you know, 5 words instead of like the director of photography, then I'd probably let it go. But it goes on. There's at least 2 minutes of titles, and they're weird. But everybody wanted their name on Hollow Man twice. And they got it.
Well, everyone knew it was going to be such a huge hit.
Yeah. Little did they know. They were right.
And it actually did pretty well financially, yeah.
Yeah,
really?
It did well enough to make a direct-to-DVD sequel. I mean, it had a horrible, like, it was not no one liked it. Not no one liked it, but the reviews were bad, but it, you know, probably made its budget back. It's like a locked door kind of, you just need one set and those 8 actors, and you pretty much have the movie.
Yeah, it's true. Kevin Bacon, how expensive is he?
Yeah. I mean, him and Josh Brolin in the 2000s was these were actors you could get.
First, do you guys want to take a guess at the budget and the box office?
Okay. I haven't looked this up. I'm going to go with budget 75, box office 250.
All right, TJ?
I think the budget was that high, 75. I'm going to do like budget 40. And box office, I'm going to do a cool 90.
The winner on both counts is Nando.
Damn it.
Really?
The budget was $95 million.
What?
Okay.
Keep in mind, this CGI was expensive back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the box office, well, you were way off, but DJ was way offer. Mm-hmm. It was $190.2 million.
Oh, my
God. So it doubled its budget, and I'm assuming there was all marketing and DVD sales and stuff, so
That's
it made
bonkers.
them money. And they probably, when they had the technology and the technology became cheaper, I'm sure they were like, we can make another one of these. We don't need to get any of the cast back. We'll just call it Hollow Man 2, and people will be like, oh, yeah, I heard about that. Because there was at least one direct-to-DVD sequel.
I was going to say, because based on what happens...
With an entirely different cast, about entirely different people. It's really just a different movie about a different Invisible Man that they also called Hollow Man.
What if it's better? It
but
could
never
be
called
better.
Hollow Man.
You know? It probably isn't, but what if it is? I mean, does it start with the same awesome scene of a mouse being crushed to death?
Oh my God.
By an invisible tiger?
That was so unnecessary.
Pretty wild scene.
We got it. They work in an invisible lab. Jesus Christ. So odd to me.
It was very strange. But it was just to show, you know, some of us are the mouse and some are the tiger or something. I'm sure.
I don't know. This that Tiger King heat. They're like, oh, Tiger King's so big. We gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were thinking in 2000.
They knew that guy was out there. He's been around for a while. They follow like. It's true.
Joey Exotic's been around forever, so maybe they did. They're like, this is gonna be huge.
And I bet he watched it a couple times. This seems like his kind of movie.
Oh yeah.
But
loved himself some Hollow Man.
So we got our main character, Sebastian. He loves science. He works all day and all night. That's all he does, at home and at work.
You know what they say, Nando? Da Vinci didn't sleep. He said it was a waste of time.
That's true. He does say that. He works so much, you guys, you'll never believe it. He has the word you should be like working printed out in 2 different fonts and colors, taped to his ceiling. In case
Which
he ever
made me
looks
laugh.
up at his ceiling. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was like,
funny.
he put that there, right? Part of me was like, is that like we're going to find out his dad? But no, he just like loves the work so much. And he's right.
A good like Invisible Man prank early in the proceedings would have been if he took that and like put it in the lab and so it was like, oh, how'd that get there? Yeah, raise the stakes too much quickly with the Invisible Man stuff.
There's
we'll get there.
Sorry.
But
okay, so he's at home. He's doing circles. He's doing circles at night, late at night.
He's doing serious science work, which is you put colored circles in a 3D program, and then the circles break apart.
I mean,
how do you do it?
Yeah, we haven't gotten better at that, or worse, I would say, in the last 20 years. In a fucking, what is it, Endgame, Tony Stark's like, put a Mobius conversion in it, and then he just like makes the circle go, and he's like, time travel, good. I was hoping it would make time travel. So it's same shit.
Yeah,
I mean, he has some graphs open and stuff on a separate computer. What else does he do while he's at work, or at housework?
Peeps on his neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We're almost hinting
now,
perhaps at some kind of inner nature that may be unleashed by his Invisible Man powers.
I don't mean to victim blame, but like when you got them blinds wide open, who's at fault? I'm just saying.
Okay, so we will learn that it is 4 a.m. because that is the time that Elizabeth Shue picks up the phone on her clock, and that's immediate. It seems like he calls her right after like this little thingy works. And she's coming home at 4 a.m. Like, that's pretty late.
It is late.
It's a good point. Where was she?
Yeah.
Some people work second or third shift, bars, depending on the liquor license.
Yeah. Have you seen her apartment, though? She's got a nice apartment.
Yeah.
And they all have night. This was, these were in the 2000s where the economy just could go nowhere but up. But still, it was like, her apartment is quite fancy. But yeah, she takes off her clothes. He sees her in the corner of his eye, watches her. She closes her blinds, and he's like, ah.
Damn.
And it's weird, but also, isn't that a bit from like Friends and stuff? Seinfeld.
That was a trope from
rage.
many.
Yeah.
Everyone was pervy in the 2000s and 90s.
Everyone was pervy like through most of human history.
It's very fair.
Yeah.
But I mean,
up until today, in fact, just you gotta crank that. Never mind.
Well, yeah, that's true as well.
You talking about cranking that hog?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
you gotta finish the statement, DJ.
Sorry, I'm such
otherwise
a
people don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's true.
Talking about going fucking hog wild on your salami.
Fuck you, Diggins.
Talking about pounding one out on your meat.
So anyway, the Invisible Man. Sorry, we're talking about certain Borat character, and I don't want to be too creepy. So let's talk about the Invisible Man. He gets on a webcam with a just out of 4 o'clock bed Elizabeth Shue. 4 o'clock. Her hair is fantastic,
and makeup's done.
It's unbelievable. She must have just gotten into bed.
And we are led to believe that this is after a marathon sex session with Josh Brolin.
Yeah,
that's
baby.
right. He looks like more of a mess than her. He's got that kind of strung out, like his hair's. He's Kevin Bacon, so we can get away with it. But I couldn't get over how. And it's a movie, but still, it's a lot. He shows her the circles. She's like, "What a amazing circles!
You got reversion.
Those circles are so good."
Yeah. Oh, and before that, he's like, "You have a boyfriend in your bed?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she turns her webcam around. Classic Zoom mistake. We all been there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never been more relevant somehow.
So then...
Yeah, can you believe this 2000 Zoom call?
Yeah. Maybe it is Zoom. Who knows? It's not Skype or something. But then she jumps on the bed and wakes up her partner. And who do our wandering eyes do appear?
Thanos,
Cable. Butt. Yeah. It's Joshua
Jonah
Brolin.
Hex.
Mm-hmm. A bunch of voice work, probably. Goonies. All kinds of stuff. And he is also a scientist, we learned, that works with them. Now, what's his deal?
He's the handsome one. Every scientist needs like a McDreamy or whatever, so he's that.
He's the handsome, boring one to be the love interest.
Right? Can you imagine being a scientist and being Kevin Bacon and walking into the lab and being like, wait, I'm not the handsome one? Get the fuck out of here. I need a new lab full of whatevers. I don't remember what his job is in the lab, but we'll switch out a couple of these guys. But also he's the new kind of boyfriend, and it's a whole big old secret. So that's fun. And what are what is the reversion that they're working on? What has he solved, you guys?
He found to make the invisible visible again, because it's very important when you're doing your Hollow Manning experiments that you know how to get them back. So, yeah, good job.
Yeah, because apparently they turned a bunch of animals invisible, and they don't know how to make them not invisible.
They're like, fuck, we sent them to Neverland, but we can't get them back from Neverland.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, the hard part is bringing them back, you know? We can all make something invisible, especially
everyone knows how to do that.
Yeah. This is so... We're going to get our first look at Josh Brolin doing some stuff, and this part of the movie is going to teach us how they deal with Invisible Man-style problems.
Yes.
So what's the first level of Invisible Man protection we're going to get?
We have infrared goggles.
Yeah, little visor goggles, too.
Yes.
Right, so you can flip up the infrared part if you want to look at not infrared.
And for some reason, these are not something everyone is wearing at all times.
And also, when they want to look at not infrared, instead of flipping up their goggles, they just take them off.
Yeah! It's so weird.
Yeah, that one I'll give you. Like, that doesn't make sense. But, like, of course they don't wear them all the time. There's not invisible men running around.
Yeah, but there's still invisible monkeys sometimes and stuff.
But, like, so rarely. It's like...
Can we talk about their method of giving apparently some kind of routine injection to the invisible gorilla?
Go for it, Diggins.
Who he notes has been more aggressive lately?
Well, I mean, the experiments have made him more aggressive. You know,
yeah.
That's just how experiments go. But yeah,
so
how does he deal with it?
The best way to give this more aggressive gorilla an injection is to be like, "Hey, gorilla, chill out," and then just open up the cage, leave it unlocked and open, and approach the gorilla with the injection, being like, "I'm just gonna inject you while you're wide awake." Which I don't think is the way they do anything with gorillas and injections.
I very much doubt it.
And I'm also going to bet that when you do that with an injection or a gorilla, you probably also need a second person, just in case. You never know.
Yeah.
But you probably want two. Like, these people at this lab, they're not cutting corners because they have all the greatest technology and stuff, but they're cutting corners in terms of, like, they all want to do everything by themselves and hate everyone else working there, which makes sense because they're all the worst. But still, it's pretty funny how Josh Brolin, ostensibly the responsible character, is like, I just gotta do this right now because I love the animals so much. But this gorilla goes free, and then what happens?
Well, then
you gotta chase an invisible gorilla, and that's not monkeying around, if you know what I mean.
Because gorillas aren't monkeys, they're apes.
Exactly. But then, let's say you and me, all three of us, but, for the sake of argument, two people, since that's what happens in the movie, we are in the lab, and a gorilla has escaped. What do we do?
Well, obviously, we take out our infrared goggles and our tranquilizer guns that we just keep in the emergency bin. And we hunt down this gorilla ourselves.
Let's go, fuckers.
That seems insane. Like, this office is asking to get killed by an invisible something. It's surprising that it's a man, but yeah, the gorilla's just about as dangerous.
Kevin Bacon is so nonchalant about it. Like, Josh Brolin runs into him in the hallway, and he's like, "Yo, what's up? Invisible gorilla escaped." And Kevin Bacon's like, "Oh, okay, cool, whatever."
Yeah, this will be fun. Who wants
day.
$10? I shoot it first.
Let me just go get the trank guns. No big deal.
And it's
and he even says in this scene, by the way, it's like he's like, "Oh, I tried to give her injections, and she broke out." And he's like, "Yeah, that's why we have trank guns." Like, yeah, you don't give the injection to the fully awakened, conscious gorilla.
I mean, it's such a bizarre scene, and Kevin Bacon, and it's like the gorilla, invisible gorilla, bites Josh Brolin and then runs away. Kevin Bacon is like strolling down the lab. He can't hear any of this, I guess, and turns a corner, bumps into Josh Brolin. The gorilla, as far as he knows, is still in that within inches of him, but he's like, god damn it, this whole gorilla thing. I wonder if this happens every day. Josh Brolin, he's, maybe he's in here because he's the handsome hunk, and that's why he's on this experiment, but he's awful at his job because he's very bad at his job. Every step of the way, he never does anything right. Say what you will about everybody else in this movie making dumb horror movie decisions, but he seems to also make dumb science decisions, and this is probably the worst one. But it's fine because they do shoot the gorilla. Kevin Bacon's been extra good at shooting the gorilla. So they do an experiment on the gorilla.
Yes.
Now, what are we doing here?
We have to get... Well, so we're going to strap this gorilla in and put the, I guess, reversion serum, inject it with the reversion serum so it can become visible again.
Yeah.
With basically orange Kool-Aid?
Something like that.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the mechanics of this invisibility.
Yeah,
Yep.
Go for it.
Let's
So
hear
the
it.
gorilla is invisible. Mm-hmm. Fully, completely. You cannot see it at all.
That's right.
Then they inject the gorilla with the Kool-Aid.
Yep.
And we can see the Kool-Aid flowing through its body.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, how is the light not bouncing off the gorilla, but is bouncing off the Kool-Aid? Like,
No,
what-
I think we can get away with this. So the way they explain what the invisibility is quantum phase shifting. So, like, it seems like
But
the
then,
way...
how come when Kevin Bacon eats something, we don't see the food, like, traveling through his guts? How come we don't see a big old shit that he's gonna take just ruminating in his intestines the whole time?
So I
like,
think
what are the rules?
I think that's dumb, but I'm willing to give it to the serum is the first thing you see. Everything the serum touches starts to become visible as it becomes touched by the serum because
How
the
does
serum
it
is the
touch
serum is
bones
irradiated and like
and
it's kind of weird. So
Fur
like you can
and skin.
well, but like then it goes through the bloodstream. You see it go through the bloodstream, and then it spreads to like organs and stuff. So, I think out of everything in the movie, I mean, I'll give you the eating thing because the eating thing is stupid. But as far as the invisibility and seeing things goes, I don't hate it because it's like how it just I don't know spreads and it's got special radiation something or other, so it works.
Also, I know you said quantum phase shifting, but that doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
yeah,
not
that's
at all.
That's just
But-
fake bullshit that they said.
But if you like, I mean, quantum is a thing, right? Like, there's quantum mechanics, and like that's all about like different shifting between different or like quantum states. That's a thing of matter. So you could, I think, like it's not the dumbest invisibility explanation I've ever heard. It's just like there's some sort of
There's no explanation, I would argue. It's not like that. It's quantum phase shifting. So actually, he's bouncing between different realities that we can't perceive so fast. That
I think
they just said words.
Well, but I think that works better for me than he has a suit with special optics cameras that you can see from all sides. Yes, I do.
But that's how, like, the invisibility that people are working on in real life, that's how they do it.
Right, but
like,
it
that's
doesn't
real.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that well, right? Like,
Well,
this
no.
is...
But
right.
it's a movie.
Right. So that's why I don't mind, like, made-up sci-fi bullshit for
I mean,
this
I don't
as opposed
mind
to,
it
like,
either,
it's almost
but-
real.
I don't mind it either, but the show's called Mostly Nitpicking, so here we are.
Onyx, I mean, you could do that with a normal movie, but a perfect movie like Hollow Man deserves your respect. Also, we've already missed 10, probably 15 examples of Kevin Bacon flirting with everyone.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he's so
flirting
flirty.
/ being a sexual deviant, right? Like,
Sure. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. The deviancy gets more deviant as we go on, but there's a lot of, like, well, we get some hints in these scenes that he has some sort of relationship with what's her name, but he doesn't know.
Linda.
Yeah, he doesn't know that Josh Brolin's dating her yet.
correct.
No, she has not allowed this to become public information, seemingly specifically because she is afraid of how he will react.
But Kevin Bacon just hates him anyway, right? Like he just doesn't like him because he's a square and he doesn't wear a cool like leather jacket like he does.
Yeah.
He's all business, wears glasses, which is funny because I feel like those are the opposites, right? Like Josh Brolin's the cool one, Kevin Bacon's the nerd.
Right?
Right.
That's how it should go.
Yeah.
Well,
they
once
made
you,
this
I
today.
mean, listen, if you get into certain subcultures, like I'm sure in the world of like medical invisibility or whatever the hell their field is,
Military
Kevin
invisibility or something.
Kevin Bacon's the rock star that everyone loves, and Josh Brolin is just the what do you call
The
it?
guy who
the
can't-
workman like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't put gorillas to sleep before injecting him. Who the fuck does that?
He's like the replacement level. Like, sure, he's handsome, but as far as science goes, he's just okay.
He can't figure out the B and C, Nando. The B.
He's
and
working
C.
on it. I mean,
But he needs the B and C. Kevin Bacon doesn't need the B and C. He goes right to the D.
he can't even get the D. Kevin Bacon can't even get the B or the C. I don't understand that explanation at all. But anyway.
Yeah, that also didn't make sense, but whatever. It's like if you took algebra once, you're like, yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, it's like he doesn't do the science good anyway. Like, it's not like Kevin Bacon. I don't know. We'll get to it. But I guess the thing that's funny, the thing that I think is strange, and maybe why Kevin Bacon doesn't work as well in this movie as you would hope, is everyone hates him from minute one except for Greg Gunberg, who's like, cool, rock star dude. Everybody else, either you are, Elizabeth Shue, who like doesn't hate him as outwardly as the doctor, veterinarian lady, or Josh Brolin, who is, constantly trying to undermine. But then you've got the two scientists who, like, they seem kind of tired of his bullshit as well. Like, he has no, not like he doesn't need redeeming qualities necessarily, because he is the bad guy, and, like, I get that. But he's just such a dick. Like,
yeah.
I wish he was a little nicer. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier.
Nice.
Like, he could have been a little more, like, nuanced and not, like, just this terrible guy who slowly goes insane. But the movie's like, nah, son, what are you, fucking dumb? Yeah. Just go right for it. This is Hollow Man. This ain't no fucking cheap level replacement nonsense. This is Hollow Man. Real movie.
And they have a dinner. They all go out and have drinks and share stories about how much everything's cool and great.
Because they did it.
They did it. They did
it.
So since they've done it, the three of them, Josh Brolin, Elizabeth Shue, and Kevin Bacon, go and give a presentation to the military.
Yep.
That's like, it's hard to make things invisible. And then Kevin Bacon pulls an insane audible, especially considering there is videotape behind him that I guess he just like cuts off before it's good. And he says, it didn't work, though. They weren't able to get an invisible gorilla back to visible. Whoopsies. And
yeah, he did that, and I was like, it wasn't even where I'm like, oh no, he's doing the thing. I was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Why is he doing this?
Right? Like, I think you could play this a couple different ways, where he's like, I've realized I never, didn't realize how dangerous this was. The military can never have it. You can do that. You can do a couple of different things, but his rationale behind this is just like, I want all the credit constantly forever. And Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin, I just kind of go, you know what this movie does kind of give you? It really does portray the most toxic workplace in history, because Kevin Bacon pulls this audible in the military meeting with all the generals, and those two, Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Shue, who clearly know better, are like, and they just kind of let it go
because he's the big genius. You gotta say yes to it.
Well, listen, Nando, I know it's been a while since you worked in an office, but it's kind of a rule. You should never contradict your coworkers during a meeting.
Like, it's bad form. You gotta back up. You're supposed
to. You're supposed to, talk it out outside the meeting.
That's fair. And they do that immediately after leaving, and he's like, they're all mad at him. Also, I just want to put this out. Elizabeth Shue, brown shirt and pants or dress, who knows. Josh Brolin, brown, gray kind of jacket and shirt and tie. Kevin Bacon, black suit, purple shirt, magenta tie. To the meeting at the Pentagon.
He looks slick.
He does. He looks great in it. It's insane in that room with all the generals. But maybe that's what they want. They want the crazy science man. And he basically tells them that they're gonna keep doing Invisible Man stuff.
Not only are they gonna keep doing it, but they're gonna move on to the next phase without telling anybody, which is human subject trials.
Yeah.
Which I work very tangentially in human subjects research. And, I mean, obviously, I expect all of you to watch that and be like, wow, that's insanely unethical. But even just logistically, like the regulations that we have for research, this is utterly insane.
Right.
Every single thing they do. It is wildly illegal, and, like, the research will be thrown out. You can't use it because it's so insanely, wildly unethical.
Right? Like, best case scenario at the end of this movie, all the surviving characters are going to jail for life or something. Like, I feel like, especially when you pull this shit with the government, you don't get away with it. If this were private citizens doing a private company thing, I think they'd all get fired, and maybe they'd get in some trouble. But I'd assume they're all getting, executed. And but the thing is, I think there's ways that you do this, right? It's happened so many times in movies where a scientist has to get desperate and test the thing on himself. And it almost always comes after someone gives a scientist an answer that we as the ethicist, like, we can ethically be like, yeah, you know what? That's your last resort, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's like the government comes in and we're pulling funding. You can't do this anymore. We're not going to support you. This is it. We're taking it all and we're shutting it down. But this time he's just like, yeah, we're going to do it on me because I feel like it.
Yeah, hey, Jonas salted the polio vaccine on himself. Was he crazy? No.
I do appreciate the answer where the guy is like, yeah, probably.
And yeah, they just go with it, and I think, I don't know, I mean, I guess it's hard to find human trials if you're not allowed to ask anyone but the 6 people that secretly know about it in your lab. And also, I guess we haven't heard this said out loud yet, but they have no supervision whatsoever from anyone. There's no one there from the army that's working on it. There's no one that's guarding them on
there's the guy
floor.
Up top.
Right. But there's no one in there that's like a eyes and ears kind of guy.
Again, utterly insane. You have to submit, like, every time you want to do anything with human subjects research, you have to submit it to an oversight board and be like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to protect people. The idea that you could conduct research like this is bananas.
Well, they have a veterinarian. The government 2000s putting hands off, we were kind of just letting things happen.
Who's also a people doctor. She's
they let her be the attending physician when they do the human trials. They specifically call her a vet.
I mean, people are animals, especially later. We'll see.
They really are.
But I mean, it seems like such a bizarre. Like I obviously don't work in this kind of lab, but if I worked in a lab and someone came in, they said, "Hey, we did our one gorilla trial that worked well yesterday. They said we can test on a human." I'd be like, "Really? That's cool." And then someone would be like, "They said we can do it today," and you'd be like, "I don't." That's wild. They said it. I could do it. The only guy that's ever known how to make this work. I'd be like, this seems like bullshit. And I think they all kind of know better. But they're all just against it. Like they're, pressure, and Gunberg wants it all to happen because he thinks it's cool rock star life.
Later Elizabeth Shue is telling others, you guys have plausible deniability. You didn't know. You won't get in trouble. I think any jury in the world that you could just point out, like, this wildly, insanely unethical shit. Yeah, they supposedly just believed that was the case. That the fucking government said that was cool. No, they obviously knew better. Come on, they're not stupid people. And you get a solid conviction, I think.
Well, and, like, it's just crazy that... So, Elizabeth Shue, Josh Brolin, and Kevin Bacon, at least, seem like a team of scientists, right? That, like, know each other, work together. At least Elizabeth Shue and Kevin Bacon. Maybe Josh Brolin came in late in the game. But, like, it's so funny that every so often they tell the government how it's going, and that's the whole oversight. There's no one that they have to check with or text, or I guess not text, but, like, it's just, I mean, it's awesome. And look where they get, they get a whole invisible hollow man.
That's true.
So partially way, it partially works. But
You're
okay.
right, Nando. We should bring back unrestricted experimentation on humans. That's the only way to make scientific progress.
Only if you're the scientist that came up with the thing. You get one chance to be like, okay, I want to be able to shrink myself, or I want to be able to turn myself into gas or whatever. Like, but no one else gets that chance. Because Kevin Bacon then goes to do Invisible Man. He gets in a robe that for some reason exists in this facility. I don't know if he brought the robe from home. I don't know why there's a robe.
But they had it for the gorillas.
Yeah, right. Just in case. And he wears it, and he's like, they're like, you shouldn't do this. And he's like, it'll be cool. Don't you even worry. And
he tells a fun joke.
I've heard that joke before. I don't know if it like came mostly from this. I didn't realize how creepy it sounds. I feel like I heard it probably when this movie came out. It's like when I was like 10. I was like, oh, yeah.
It's funny. It's I was watching it, and Michelle was like, this joke is so old. When did this movie come out? Like 2000. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have never heard this joke before, personally.
Oh, really?
I have heard it. I'm sure my dad told it to me, because Yeah.
What great parenting.
Well, different kind of dad joke. My father didn't tell the corny dad jokes. He told all the sex ones, so...
Well, it feels like a joke I heard at camp or, like, on the school ground. It was a joke where, at the time, I was like, oh, yeah, that's funny, because Superman didn't do that. But then later, I'm like, oh, never mind. It sucks. I mean, I don't know. It's a weird joke. I remember probably hearing it as a child and being Invisible Man's not in the Justice League. It's so stupid.
Yeah, honestly, that thought crossed my mind. I'm like, he's not.
Yeah, there is nothing. There's no character they could even use. I can't even think of one. Who could do that? What superhero in the DCEU or DCU is invisible?
Does Booster Gold have technology that can make him invisible? Is that a thing?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, he's got future tech, so I'm sure they could be like... I'm sure there's guys that have, like, technology, but it's strange now thinking about it. I can't think of an invisible superhero. Or villain, for that matter.
Well, not a DC one.
Not a DC one, yeah.
There's obviously the Invisible Woman.
Of course, yes. And I think, like, there probably is some analog of that in... Like, there's some DC version of that. Like, I know Hank Henshaw and the... in Death of Superman, they're supposed to be like a invisible or a Fantastic Four parody, but that I don't think they last long, and that wouldn't work. But
I don't think anyone besides him makes it.
Yeah,
I think that's part of the point.
Yeah, I think So like, I don't know. Anyway, not great joke. I mean, it's a good joke because of the reaction he gets from his coworkers, which is like, ew.
Yeah,
weird joke to tell at work.
Yes.
It would be a crazy joke to tell at work if you hadn't had a relationship with your top scientist, Elizabeth Shue, and then Josh Brolin is dating her and he doesn't know that, but still, like, in front of another person. I don't know. It's a very dysfunctional workplace.
And about to turn into an Invisible Man.
Yes, right?
A reference in the joke, though.
Yeah.
Weird shit.
It's a weird joke.
Shit. Yeah.
But anyway, next he's going to flash everybody at work his whole situation.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just whole bananas and cherries. Just
gets out the whole bacon.
The full Giuliani for the people. And we see his butt, and it's
Yeah, we see his butt like a few times.
Oh, we get a full view of that sweet slice of bacon.
But here's the thing. He's very tan. He's got a very clear tan line, and you're kind of like...
Yeah.
This guy, is he a scientist workaholic all day in the lab? Or is he going out to the beach and sunning?
I mean, maybe.
Maybe he works at the beach.
Oh, maybe.
Are there any beaches in D.C.?
Secret ones you don't know about? Underneath the Pentagon and stuff,
There are beaches in Virginia and Maryland.
Okay,
they're the worst beaches. Not like the worst, but like, I don't know Virginia Beach as being one of the... I don't know. If anyone's from Virginia Beach, you can let us know. I don't know it as being one of the beautiful world beaches.
Not like Myrtle Beach.
And that's coming from someone who knows, like, Atlantic City. So...
One of
the world's beautiful beaches. Yeah, I got a leg to stand on there. But, so very tan. He goes and lays down, and what do they do with Kevin Bacon before they start the experiment that I think is worth noting?
What, strapping him in?
Yeah. They strap him into what?
The same gurney as the gorilla.
Yeah. The gurney that held a gorilla comfortably. And the gorilla was held tight to this thing.
Yep.
And it was...
That's important to note for later.
A gorilla near death that could not escape because it was held so tightly to this gurney. Now, for people that haven't seen the movie, Kevin Bacon is like a person. He's a human being, a skinny little 120-pound man. I think at one point we get his weight. He is not The Rock. And he is also not as Sebastian Shaw, his character from X-Men First Class. But he gets his injection. So he gets his, like, blue, goo injection to turn him invisible. And it works. He's successfully invisibled. But he like, struggles a lot.
Yeah.
And
it's very painful. No, that's later.
Sorry. But still, what the fuck, man? Anyway... We'll save that one for later. But yes, he struggles and does Captain America, where it's like it hurts him a lot, but it's fine because he's like, I want to do the experiments.
Well, he's like passed out for a full day.
Isn't there a bit though where he's like about to die during it? Like it's like
yeah, they like almost try to defibrillate him, but then his heart rate gets under control.
Well, I guess, okay, so even before breaking out, right, where, like, Kevin Bacon, so I'm watching the scene now, Kevin Bacon. Bacon. So Kevin Bacon gets Invisible Man serum in his body, and he's like, oh, it feels weird. And then he just starts going wild. And even without breaking out, he's able to completely flip over onto his side because there's so much give on these little these straps.
And we get another shot of his sweet ass.
Yes! And I'm like, man, tighten those straps. What's the point? Why even bother with the straps? If he could just flip over. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a great point. But then, a quick aside. What did you say his character name from X-Men First Class was?
Sebastian Shaw.
And he's Sebastian Cain in this movie.
That's right. Maybe it is a prequel to this.
When will he play Sebastian Abel?
Or Sebastian from The Little Mermaid.
Or those are the two. I can't think of a third Sebastian.
Wait, hold on. Sebastian Hobbs.
Oh, wait, is that his name?
No, because he's Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, very good.
So he also needs to be Sebastian Hobbs.
Very good.
Just like Sebastian Cain and Sebastian Abel. You see, a certain thing with comedy jokes is that you repeat the pattern.
Yes. Very good. What about?
And then you explain the joke, because then it's even funnier.
I thought Sebastian Abel was a character I just wasn't aware of.
Oh no, yeah, that I caught on to that bit, but I had trouble. For when you said Sebastian Hobbs, there was a part of me that was like, I know we have his name, but maybe that sounds like a name you could give the Rock's guy in those movies.
It's Luke.
It is,
Hobbs.
yeah, much more cool American name. But
come on, son, I'm the least Fast and Furious fan here, and I'm the one who knew that.
It's been a while.
Were you guys saddened that they announced that 10 and 11 will be the last movies in that franchise?
I mean, that still means we get 3, and the answer is no, because it won't. They will make more and more and more until we die.
Yeah, they're going to look at the billions of dollars that 11 makes. And they're like, yeah, we're going to stop here. Yeah,
but okay, so he goes invisible, and we see his skin all melt away and stuff. It's kind of cool effect. I like his visibility effect.
Yeah, I didn't like watching that because I'm a squeamish person, but that just means it was a good effect.
Exactly. Also, we do see his dick in this bit, and it's weird. We see his
it's so weird.
We see his infrared dick.
No, we see his his muscle dick. We see.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Yeah. Because I'm watching this scene again, and I wanted to, and it's in there. It's hard to. I don't know how. I guess I missed it on my phone. Maybe Quibi, or not Quibi. Maybe NBC Peacock doesn't show it, but it's there.
Oh no, they do. I believe we all got the. We're not getting any cool Scooby Doo, KFC, Pepsi.
No, yeah,
because we all watched the same movie.
I watched the one with KFC and no dick, and you guys watched the one with Burger King and many dicks. KFC has standards. So he's invisible now.
Yeah.
Yay! He did it.
It worked. Hooray.
That's it.
Yep, movie over.
I hope they find him, yeah.
He lets everyone know that he's awake again by playing some pranks.
I honestly wanted more of this because I feel like this could have been the part where it's he's just gonna be a cool fun guy with his invisible manning.
But those pranks escalate way too quickly.
Too quickly, right? There's one bit later where Elizabeth Shue. I mean, it's part of how everyone in this office hates him and is it seems so clear how they're oh, he's Invisible Man, and everybody looks at each other where is he right now?
No, we've made a horrible mistake.
Yeah, we shouldn't have let him do it. But because he turns out to be Invisible Man, and it's fine, and then he. And I assume they know this, naked, goes into the room with all of them and is just, palling around, pinching everyone's butts and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's fucking weird, man.
Oh, God, yeah.
Can you imagine if you had... it's just, it's the... Yeah, I think... I don't know. There could have been a little bit more of, him not wanting to do it.
Yeah, just pull out some chairs, bro. Not everything has to be, grabbing titty.
Yeah, Poltergeist, just a big, stack of chairs. Or just maybe him putting on a robe and being I want to be a person. Here's my hat. I don't need to wear a hat because I'm an invisible man. But also, what if one of your coworkers just accidentally grabs your junk? I don't know. It feels like the whole purpose of that, of clothes, half of it is protecting everyone else from your junk. But then the other half is protecting your junk from everyone else, You gotta... He doesn't even care about that second half.
No, he didn't give a fuck.
90s workplaces. Oh, yeah. And then he is an Invisible Man now. And now he has to wait for a couple of days because they have to, like, study him and stuff, which really just means,
run
like,
some tests.
And he just hangs around and whatever. It's fine. So they all have to take shifts watching him in case he dies immediately.
And then they'll have to answer some questions.
Yeah.
The military being like, what the fuck, guys?
So
we
how
said
does this?
No.
How does
or actually, no, you lied to us.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he died, I feel like you'd just throw his body in the river, pretend you never did this experiment, and be like, I guess he died. Let's never speak of him again.
And he was right. We never did get it to work. So whoops. Yeah. Sorry, everybody.
But I think, actually, at this point, this is like a best-case scenario for them. But he doesn't die. He gets all horny real quick. And goes to creep on the veterinarian, who is asleep in the control room. How does he know that? I guess he's just, like, decided to sneak around. It'd be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
now, again, this is not to victim blame. However, this veterinarian did apparently decide to come into work today wearing a thin, buttoned up the front sweater, and absolutely nothing underneath, not even a bra.
Now, Diggins, it's not okay to victim blame.
No, it's not her fault. However, bizarre fashion choice.
And I guess bizarre science choice, right?
Yes,
you would assume in a lab there's got to be, you can't wear open-toed shoes, you can't do this, and this. I would assume, like, macrame single layer of, really, like, tightly, like, he doesn't have to fiddle with those buttons at all. He just kind of pulls the shirt and they all pop open like they're, NBA player pants. You figure that's not in the rules either.
Well, so also, right, like, it's that, like, all of the scientists here are, like, so sexy. That's, like, the other part of it. Like, they have to wear these sexy, sexy clothes because they're all, like, hot scientists. Like, not a one person puts on a fucking lab coat. Like,
I think you'll find that everyone who studies the sciences is sexy, DJ.
No, my mistake.
That's true. I mean...
My bad.
And every office has one of those nerds who does hacking and stuff. So, they balance out the sexiness with a big old nerd.
It is just fun. It is fun that these people dress up for the lab like they're going to the club. Like, that's legit fair, how they dress.
You take a lot of your cues at work from your boss and how seriously you have to take stuff. And if Kevin Bacon's my boss, it shorts every day to the science lab. Screw it.
Right?
Do whatever the fuck I want. Like, there's no business casual for this lab. I get what's his name is wearing collared shirts and Thanos is wearing collared shirts, but I don't want to. He's a nerd because he's got glasses on, so, like, screw him. And B, like, even if he was like, you got to put on your collared shirt, this is a lab, I guarantee you that, like, that second Kevin Bacon would come in and smack him and be like, no, he doesn't, you suck, I rule. Ha! Finger guns and run away. Because, the office culture here is terrible. But
very toxic, very toxic.
He takes off her shirt, or, like, unbuttons her shirt a little bit, and plays around with her boob. And it's a CG boob, and it's weird. It's very weird.
Yeah.
And it's probably your first sense that this movie's going to be weird in, like, a weirder than you'd expect way.
100%.
But this is 40 minutes into the movie. Like, they really don't waste time with him being all weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is, like, the second thing he does with Invisible Man powers is sexually assault a coworker.
Well, I mean, you could even consider all the butt grabbing in the first time he used Invisible Man powers, also sexually assaulting coworkers. Like, he is just...
Sure.
And
I mean, that's bad, but this is, like, a much more egregious violation.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like the next thing that he will do, or not the next thing that he will do even, but the next Invisible Man, like, scene in the movie after a couple of them kind of tell him, like, he kind of gets a second to be creepy at everybody. The other lab worker, who we haven't really mentioned, but she also works up in the science lab with the nerd. She goes into this, like, humongous single bathroom, like, single person bathroom. Yeah, I don't know. But she locks it and then uses the bathroom and has to put on her IR goggles so that she can make sure that he's not there because of how creeped out she is by him. And he hasn't even done anything to anybody yet. As far as she knows, really, Like, this is just a baseline level of distrust everyone in this office has for Kevin Bacon.
I also want to point out that it's a single toilet that also has multiple urinals not separated from it by a stall or anything.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it's definitely a weird, like, so it can't be a set they built, though, right? It's got to be a real bathroom they used somewhere, I assume. I don't think we ever see that bathroom again, you know?
No, it never pops up.
Yeah.
So I imagine the lock is fake, but it's a real, like, door, and they just needed to put on a really exciting lock so we knew he wasn't in there. But, like, yeah, I guess that's a real locker room somewhere. I don't know. That is weird, though.
Yeah.
I have been in a bathroom that had a urinal and a toilet right next to each other.
Yeah, but not
and it
two.
was an uncomfortable experience.
I gotta say, usually it's like a dive bar thing. Like no joke, like dive bars will have like horrible situations where it's like, oh god, why are these like this?
Well, you just said that these scientists are dressing like this is a dive bar. Maybe they figured it would help with the atmosphere.
Oh my god,
That's
yeah, it's
true.
true. They're going for an aesthetic thing.
Also, then they talk, and they're like, hey, how's it all going? Invisible Man, he's a little weirdo, right? They're eating Chinese food. They're getting takeout. This is so secure, this laboratory of science and underground laboratory stuff, that they have a fully stocked fridge full of, like, lean cuisines and Coca-Cola, but also they get Chinese food.
Maybe the security guard takes it down for him.
Yeah.
That's nice of him.
Isn't it?
I don't think... I mean, like, listen, that would be a hilarious, like, third act thingy. Is if it's just like he comes in with today's Chinese food and just finds the whole lab on fire and everyone's running for their lives. He's like the guy from The Shining. But
I was
also,
gonna say it'd be like that scene in Community where Troy walks in.
Yeah. But this is also not the first time, I guess, but we get another instance of Kevin Bacon invisible manning around people who don't know he's invisible manning around them, because he turns out to be in that scene. Now, I don't know about you, but this is where we're going to start talking. I think I'd know he was there.
No, you wouldn't. You always say this anytime an Invisible Man thing comes up. You are convinced that in any Invisible Man situation, you would know to be in that Invisible Man situation, and I find that false. There's no way you would know.
Well,
There's
know.
No way.
They know he's there, right? Right? Like, they know they could possibly be there.
They know there's a Invisible
They know
Man.
he exists?
Yes, yeah, that's what I mean. So, I do think everybody would be on their nerves like she is, like when she goes to the bathroom. And everybody would wear the goggles all the time. But even beyond that, I think I don't think I could sit next to a person and eat my lunch while they are breathing and, like, being there and taking up space and, like, I would assume moving at least a little bit and not sense it. He's not a ghost. He's like a guy, a physical guy. I don't know. I think I feel like we're good at that. We're good at, like, sensing stuff like that.
Are we?
Yeah, I think we are. You never felt like, oh, you got a feeling someone's behind you or something?
I'm often wrong.
Yeah, I'm usually wrong about it.
Yeah, but if there was an Invisible Man in your life at that time, I think you'd nail it. You know, I think you'd be like, I'm pretty sure it's him. It's got to be him. And
I think I would think that constantly and usually be wrong.
Well, that's fair. But I do.
So it's not so much that I actually can sense him as a law of averages kind of thing.
It is pretty bizarre that at this point in Invisible Manning, he has a come and go as he please to his bedroom kind of situation set up where there's nobody monitoring him.
Yeah, that is odd.
Really weird. What's the point of having him monitored if he could just die and then you don't know where he is?
Also, this doesn't really come up till later, but no one has removed his ability to leave this lab. No one has revoked his access.
Oh my goodness.
He is perfectly allowed to come and go as he pleases.
That's insane to me. That because like when he goes up in the elevator, like Kane 002, it's like, wait, he still has that? What the fuck?
I mean, not only does he have that level of access, he has he's so wonderful, this Sebastian Kane, that he has even more access than that. He can revoke the access of all of his superiors at a moment's notice.
Well, I would argue they're his subordinates, but
sorry, support. What did I say? Superiors? I meant subordinates or just like people around him. He can lock them all in the lab.
Like, doesn't it make sense that he would be able to revoke his subordinates' clearance and stuff?
No, he could because what if? So he's an Invisible Man, right? And that's why he goes crazy and is killing everyone. But what if he just decided to do that visibly? He went crazy and decided to kill all these people. Or what if he's just a weirdo? He's a weirdo. I assume the government doesn't give him... Like, I feel like the government would at least get an email. Like, oh, that's weird. Sebastian Cain just revoked everybody's clearance. I think we got to go check on him.
Honestly, it should probably be like the building staff or something that are able to do that.
Yeah.
You don't usually have security also headed by whoever happens to be running that office.
Yeah. But, yeah, I guess, I don't know. He can just come and go as he pleases, and it's fine now because he's just doing harmless pranks, like grabbing at all the women in the office and also just sitting around. But later...
And sexually assaulting his coworker in her sleep.
Yeah. So, like, he's the worst now. And then later, he's going to start, like, murdering. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know, man. This movie's great.
I have a question for you, Nando.
Yeah?
So, you posit that you would be fine in an Invisible Man, but, like, what this movie does is it's like, oh, he's an Invisible Man, but he's also a genius, right? So,
yes.
You say, oh, I will wear my infrared goggles all the time. But he would find a way around that because he's a genius.
And in fact, does in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, he does in the movie, but, like, I mean, he does when they're fighting him. But, like, just in terms of having these guys...
So what you're saying, Nando, is if an Invisible Man came into your life and was not hostile, you would immediately seek to kill him.
No,
when he inevitably goes crazy.
Well, yes, if we've learned anything. But before that, I'm just saying, like, in a situation where there is an Invisible Man, you wouldn't be able to get away with this, like, sit at the table and just fuck around level of invisibility either. Like, there's no way there would be an open seat at the table that he's been sitting in the whole time, and no one would know.
I mean, the chair was indented. It's the weird part.
But it was also pushed under the table, so they couldn't see the
Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about that.
But, like, you still... Like, it's a chair. You still put weight on it, and it goes down. Like, I don't know, man.
Like, his butt imprint was in the chair. Like...
I think you guys are dramatically overestimating how observant most people are.
I think you guys are dramatically underestimating how observant people are.
Well, no, okay, so if I was just in a meeting and I was unaware of being in an Invisible Man situation, I would not notice any kind of chair. There could be a full body imprint, and I'd be like, oh, whatever, weird chair. Someone must sit in that a lot. But, like, if I was aware of my Invisible Man circumstances, I might be more alert.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I guess you would be very suspicious of everything, but especially empty chairs at the table.
There are people who are on Zoom calls with their coworkers and are unaware enough to not know that they have not turned off their video before they start cranking one out.
Oh my god.
I think there are plenty of people who are unaware enough to not know a man is sitting in a chair when he's invisible, even if they know an invisible man exists.
We'll see. We'll get to the worst examples of it, but
will we see?
I guess we'll see, but I think these people screw up a lot of things, and maybe this is on the less egregious side, but I still find this is where it becomes a little bit like, okay, so he could teleport there, I guess. How did he get in there? Is everyone just... I guess, and it's more of a factor. I guess the bigger issue is just what do people think he's doing during the day? Sleeping the whole day? No one checks on him? Is he just going like, no one is like, where's he at right now? I don't know. But okay. So he is Invisible Man, but he is not able to be uninvisible manned. We do a surgery on him. Or not a surgery, but we do the orange injection this time. How does that go?
No, bueno.
Well, he starts seizing up, going nuts, just like the gorilla did. Unlike the gorilla, he Incredible Hulks out of his straps.
Yeah!
Oh my god, he's so strong.
It's so weird.
Just busts out of them, kicks a man across the room, punches another man across the face, and he, like, falls down. And they're trying to hold him down, but it's no good. He's too strong. He's too powerful.
Strong boy.
Like, why? Why not just have him... Why does he have to kick Greg Gunberg around the room? Why can't he just not do that? I don't know. It's a really weird flex they gave this guy to be the strongest invisible man on Earth.
Maybe that's what he's been doing all day while he's invisible, is just push-ups.
Oh, that would be sick. If you just got visible and then you were just super jacked. Like, it's been 3 days. I'm like, I know, but I can
Those
see
gains,
all my muscle groups. Yeah.
You know what Da Vinci said, don't sleep.
Did he really say Da Vinci?
No.
That's
Have you not seen that meme?
Or whatever, yeah.
I don't know memes, dude. I'm so a not meme boy.
Oh. It's these two weird-looking Eraserhead kids that call it Da Vinci instead of Da Vinci.
Oh.
They're like from a different country or something.
They're like answering trivia questions, and all of their answers are very wrong, and it's funny.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm just an asshole.
I mean, it's it's a funny. Their reaction is well timed and hilarious. But so yeah, this guy like rips through his restraints and stuff, and he kicks Greg Gunberg around. So they're like, I guess we need to figure out what to do with you now if we're not going to be able to uninvisible you. So the first thing they do is they make him a little skin.
Yeah.
Make him a little Deadpool skin. What do we think of this?
It's horrible. Like, I already mentioned the nasally thing, like where Kevin Bacon just sounds like his nose is plugged the whole time, and I was not a fan of that. And it looks weird, and it doesn't seem helpful at all.
I feel like they could have made a better mask than they did.
Yeah, like, or just bought a mask. I don't know. I mean, it melds to his face, I guess, so it's like, it looks like his exact nose and stuff and cheekbones and all that great stuff Kevin Bacon's known for. It really does not look
like him, though.
Right. It doesn't look like him, but if you know it's him, you're like, oh yeah. His nose he has a specific nose, that Kevin Bacon. It points upwards. So I think I don't know if you'd recognize it if you saw that Invisible Man, but it is like, looking at it now, I'm like, oh yeah, that's him. They do also cut out his eye holes, and it's fucking disgusting. I hated that she did that with scissors, just like eyeballed it. Like she was just like,
how did she not just like stab him right in the eye? Holy shit.
If you watch the scene, it's like she definitely jammed that scissor in his eye.
And but it's okay because now he has eye holes, but they don't give him nose holes. But also, we didn't talk about this yet. It's if you are an invisible man, you cannot not see because you cannot close your eyes.
Oh yeah,
because your eyes are also invisible.
What? So wait, what's up with that?
I mean,
so your eyelids are invisible, and they can't stop light from coming to your eyes because light passes right through them. That part makes sense. The part where you can see, even though light is also passing through your eyes, doesn't. But whatever.
Right.
Yeah, it's one or the other. But it is like we have established the first weakness of Invisible Man, besides that he is invisible, and sometimes that is kind of a weakness or whatever, and he's going crazy, but it's that he cannot close his eyes. Now, his eyes closing doesn't matter.
Right. And you think, so this must play an important role in the finale, and you're wrong.
Absolutely wrong. And
it never comes up again, really.
They just put sunglasses on him, which is just funny, because now he looks like Deadpool. And he puts on clothes now. He's tired of being a weirdo. I mean, he's still going to be a weirdo, but you're like, I don't know. Where have these clothes been this whole time, buddy? And they have to do experiments on him, and he gets really mad and crazy.
I'm tired of being an invisible man. He doesn't say that, but
pretty much.
He yells. He does yell.
And he dresses up and I know Deadpool must do this at some point. Glasses and a zip-up blue hoodie. It's from one of the movies. And just leaves.
That totally happens.
And Greg Gunberg's like, you can't. And he's like, I'm gonna. And then he just gets in the elevator and leaves.
Yeah, and he does. And that's the point where I'm like, wow, he still has his clearance, huh?
Yep.
And the security guard, up top's like, oh, hey, Dr. Kane, I haven't seen your car move in a while. And he's like, yeah, gotta run.
And he looks so weird.
I would also like to point out that after this incident, they still don't revoke his clearance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he's the only person that can, apparently. He has the highest level of clearance. It's a real, again, toxic office structure. Something like this was begging to happen. But so he, at this point, I think, is like, I'm going crazy. But also it seems like at this, early in the game, he's like, I just want to go home and do research because... say the thing about B and C, DJ. This is where this comes in.
So Josh Brolin's talking to Elizabeth Shue. He's like, I'm gonna figure this out. I want to rescue Sebastian. And he's like, I can't figure out the B and C. And Elizabeth's like, what? It's like, my math teacher always told me it's like, to get... Oh, fuck, I'm gonna fuck this up, aren't I?
True genius. Our geniuses are able to go from A to D without connecting any of the dots in between. But me, I'm not a genius. I need the B and C.
Right.
And okay, but also, he's not a genius either, because Kevin Bacon is alive during this. He could also be going from A to D. And when Kevin Bacon starts getting mad at Josh Brolin for not being able to figure this all out, I'm legitimately furious at Kevin Bacon. Just what the fuck, dude? You do it then. You're the genius. Yeah. What's stopping you besides you going crazy? But, like, that's not, we're all, like, letting that one go. I don't know. He's a weirdo. Maybe this is why you don't do this experiment at this time. But so he goes home, and this is where the movie really starts to go off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
What happens then?
Well, unfortunately, Kevin Bacon decides, like, hey, it's time to take power into my own hands and do some bad Invisible Man stuff.
Yeah, like, immediately does the worst thing you could do as an Invisible Man.
Yeah, and the movie tries to pretend that he's, like, conflicted about it. Like, oh, I can't give in to my dark impulses. But it's... The literal first thing you did was sexually assault a person you already know. Are you trying to convince me that you feel bad about sexually assaulting a person you don't know? Get out of here.
Yeah, like, that's fucking nonsense. It's like he did a rape. It was the first thing he did.
Well, it's almost like the movie kind of treats it like he's like this is his one weakness, He's like, oh, I just wanted to go home and then get my books and go back to the office, but oh man, a sexy lady across the street. Yes, I gotta. Like his main character flaw. And he sneaks into her apartment by just banging the doorbell a lot, and then he sneaks right in.
Yeah,
and
I don't know why. Also, this woman, and again, I'm not trying to victim blame, but like she just got out of the shower. She's in a robe, and her move is to like, oh, ring the doorbell and no one's gone. I guess I'll just open the door full wide and like just stand out in the hallway for a few minutes and see what's up. It's like,
now, I would probably, in that situation, eventually open the door and look around. I don't know that I would leave the door wide open and step out into the hallway.
In a
but I would
robe.
open.
A full human's width of open as well, like wide enough that Kevin Bacon. Now, I'd love to see this movie with him in the movie, visibly, and just see
him added back in.
Yeah, see him like shirking about, like getting really thin to get through a crack that no one else can get through and stuff. And, like, cackling as he does it, lifting his knees up really high as he sneaks. Because she gives him all the time in the world to get into this room. And this is the first time, I think, where we see a little bit of, like, first-person Invisible Manning. And the camera goes through the door and, like, it's like, oh, we are him. This is the male gaze or whatever.
yeah.
And she gets so uncomfortable about him, that she closes the door. But then she just goes to a different room that the door's not anything connected to, and he's just able to find her, which is...
I did find that weird. It's like, you close the door, but your apartment doesn't work that way.
Yeah, like, I don't know, whatever. But, then she gives herself a little massage, and I forget, how does she fight? Oh, he, like, starts messing with the mirror.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
He just keeps tilting it while she's brushing her hair until she's eventually like, something's happening here.
Yeah, and then he just jumps on her and cut to Elizabeth Shue driving to his house.
Okay. Did he kill her?
Oh, I think he raped her.
Yeah.
Well, obviously that's the implication. Afterwards, did he kill her?
I don't think so.
Because then what we have is a news story that goes around saying woman claims she was raped by Invisible Man. And then, the other scientists can look at the news and be like, oh, shit, he must have raped a woman. Because, especially if they eventually find out that it's across the street from his apartment.
Right.
Well,
so where are you getting the whole killed her thing?
If he killed her, then she doesn't tell anybody what happened to her, and nobody says the words Invisible Man.
I think she is crying on the bed afterwards, and he just walks away to the window and sees Elizabeth Shue in his apartment. At this point in the movie, he hasn't killed anyone yet, so I think if he were going to kill her, it's not like the perfect movie, but I think if he were going to kill her, it would show him killing her, because that would be a big step. But he doesn't do that. The next thing we see is him at his apartment being like, just Mr. Like, I got my books and that was all I needed. So yeah, I don't think she did. So yeah, I don't know, Ghost, Invisible Man, what she thinks happened. But I don't know. He seems very, like, I don't know. Would this get out? What would she even say?
Right? I mean, oh man, well, you could take like a DNA test and like prove you were raped. Like, that's a provable thing.
Yeah.
Beyond even
that. Well, but also, we're well aware now that the police mostly don't follow up on those.
And her claim would be that this all happened by a ghost or something. So I think, if anything, she's on like the Discovery Channel, but on like one of those, ghost guy shows. Also, he's irradiated. That's something we haven't really talked about, but like people don't touch
you're
this blue goo.
You're positing the Spider-Man problem.
No, not even that. But just like, I feel like there would be some traces of him somewhere. You would be able to go in there with a Geiger counter and like, there's a little bit of, he's been here and here and here and here.
A little bit of goo in the area.
You. Ugh. DJ, you made it weird. It was all normal and cool up until you said goo.
You're right.
But then they all get guns, and they have a team meeting where they're like, I'm sick and tired of this Invisible Man. Nothing we can do about it, but I am sick and tired of him. Guess we just have to let him be.
Yeah, then he just shows up like, it's cool, guys, and they're mad for a second, but they do just let him keep doing whatever.
They get over it so fast.
This is where the veterinarian's like, wait a second, because he says, like, I'll tell everybody about what you did. And the veterinarian's like, wait, what? What's he going to tell them? We didn't do anything.
I thought this was all above board.
And I guess everybody else is just dumb. None of the rest of them are all that clever.
I thought we were allowed to create invisible men at our leisure.
Yeah. What? This isn't a one-day turnaround on whether or not you get to try to turn your scientist invisible? I thought that was. We haven't had anyone come in and check on him, even though we made a guy invisible? You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, this seems like something the Army would want to see in person.
Something's up
as
here.
Opposed to, like, our videos of it. I don't know. But, then they almost get to B, you know? And then they get to C, but they don't get to D. He's still invisible.
Womp,
Bummer.
womp.
Womp, womp. Also, I don't like that he can put this like little plastic helmet back on. It's weird. It seems like a one-time use kind of thing.
Right? Yeah. But it's almost like the Mrs. Doubtfire mask.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they made.
Pretty much. Okay. So, we got a crazy invisible man.
Mm-hmm.
He's invisible.
That's true.
I have a question for you, Nando.
Yes.
So, let's say you were part of the proceedings here at this point, right? So you now know not only do we have an invisible man, but a hostile one. Mm-hmm. And, you know, let's say you don't do the sensible thing of, you know, handcuffing him to a desk and just being like, you're not allowed to move, although you're as strong as the Incredible Hulk, so it wouldn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
How would you handle this invisible man scenario?
Well, so, I mean, the first step would be, as part of the team that, like, readies their tranquilizer guns at one point, you got to put the glasses on at all times. You have to have the ability at all times to see whether or not there is an invisible man in the same room as you. Every time you walk into a room, you check for invisible men, and then you lock the door. I don't... That's the part, and some of the doors don't have locks, so, like, you know, you make yourself aware of what's going on. But, like, if you have invisible man technology, like these IR glasses, you should never be able to get snuck up on by an invisible man. It just doesn't make any sense. Until the very end when he, like, accidentally, you know, defeats the glasses.
Right,
but,
right.
I don't know. I mean, that's step one. It's not like they're heavy or they need to be charged as far as we know or something. It's just that they don't want to wear them. Like, it's bizarre. I don't know. Do you have any suggestions?
I mean, I guess my thing is that, like, I'm not convinced that I would be able to outsmart this invisible man, especially, again, when this invisible man is a genius. Like, that's the thing, right?
Right, but he's a movie genius, which means he gets to invent something cool, but he's otherwise not very smart.
Yeah,
didn't think about that.
I mean, it's not like they have to come up with these glasses. The glasses have been there the whole time. So that would be a big part of it. I think we would have to have eyes on the invisible man at all times. He would not be able to just get up and walk around. When they see him getting up and walking around, that's when they double check things. I don't know. Like, what's his name is an idiot. Greg Gunberg is like an idiot. So he kind of lets something happen that shouldn't happen. Twice, I guess, because he's also the one that's like, hey, you know, I forget, he lets him go and then doesn't get mad at him. And then also they have like a bro talk.
He's like, how was it? Like, what would you do? I'd kind of fuck with people. And he's like, yeah, I kind of did some of that. And he's like, how'd it feel? And Kevin Bacon goes, it felt kind of good.
Such a weirdo.
And this is while the guy was looking at like a porn magazine.
Yeah.
No. Two separate scenes.
Really? Jesus.
The porn mag is when he lets him leave.
The
thing going on while I have this talk is that Kevin Bacon kills a fly.
Yeah, which is
definitely
the second step in showing how terrible you are. After all the other crimes he's done, you're like, well, now I can't trust this person.
Yeah, first you rape a woman, and then you kill a fly, because in this worldview, obviously a fly is more important than a woman. So.
True.
Right. Remember how at the end of the first season of Westworld, she kills the fly, and you're like, maybe the robots are dangerous after all, you know? In the end of the first season.
You mean the first episode?
No, I mean at the end of the first. I'm saying, like, that's at the end of the first season, and you're like, we can't trust these robots, and now they're killing flies.
Yeah, damn. Everything else, it was nothing.
Everything else is normal robot behavior, but now this is too much. You gotta have limits. But now we're kind of in the end game, because I think everyone in...
And appropriately enough, Josh Brolin is here.
Oh, yes, very, very good. Well, and at this point, they also have their chat where they're like, we have to go to the general, right? Is that now or soon?
Yeah. Yep. Like, they decide, all right, we're gonna
it's they like kind of continue as normal for a little bit, but they're all suspicious of him now.
Yeah.
He rigs up a thing to constantly show him on the monitor, even when he's not there, and then he sneaks out, sees Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Shue hooking up, and like breaks her window because he's mad about it.
Right, and then they're like, yeah, we have to do something about him. He killed a fly.
Then she goes to confront him, finds out about the thing he rigged up, and then they're like, we have to go to the general. This is too much.
And now at this
also,
point...
he killed a dog.
So, the dog thing. I think that might be different on Peacock than on the other. Like on
Why?
I think that scene is longer on Peacock, or shorter on Peacock. I want to see it again. How much of the dog killing do we see?
We pretty much see it die in infrared full up.
Oh, really?
We cut like after he slams it in the wall, but we see a lot of blood.
Yeah.
I gotta watch this again because I think we may see. I don't know. There's a part of me that's
I literally just watched it on screen from Peacock.
Well, the one that I'm watching.
And you know what? You know what? I have another version. Oh wait, I think I deleted it already.
I have another version, so I'm gonna try to catch it. I have to like get past the commercials. Oh, Peacock! Just kidding. Peacock's pretty cool.
Nothing's free after all.
Yeah. But yeah, he does murder a dog because it's barking at him.
Which it's fucked up, by the way. I didn't appreciate that dog murdering.
It was insane. I mean, like, again, this guy's, he's crossing all kinds of lines in some random order.
Right?
But
rape woman, kill fly, kill dog.
Yeah. And also, it's like there's people he will kill later that he will do a little neck snap or something. Yeah. Because it seems like he's like, I have to kill you because that's kind of how this is going. He slams this dog against a wall.
Yeah.
Like, it's
a savage. Yeah.
I have never seen anything like that in a movie, I think.
This is not Old Yeller. This is like fucking blood sport. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. I mean, like, the movie's terrible in a lot of ways, but I wouldn't say it comes out of nowhere, but it kind of feels like it does. Okay, so I have the
little bit.
Version. I'm checking this now because he like picks up the dog and he's like, "Oh, friendly dog. Dog struggles. Hits it against the wall." Yeah, Peacock cuts. Oh really? Yeah, there is more of that scene in the movie than Peacock shows.
What more is there?
More hitting the dog against different walls.
Oh, what?
You see him hit the dog 3 times. Once in Peacock, you see it once and then it cuts quick. But in the whatever version I'm watching that I got in a normal way that everyone loves. He hits the dog against 3 walls, and it lies there. Now, we're only seeing this in infrared, so you don't see an actual dog being murdered. But still, like, it's... I seeing this now, I'm like, that's way more brutal than before. And it is, yeah. They edited the dog murder down a little bit in the Peacock version, and I appreciate it.
I do, too.
Now I'm wondering if they also murdered some CGI dick down as well. Not murder, excuse me, edited
God,
some...
I hope not.
Yeah. Oh my God, the dog murder in the movie is so much worse. Yeah, it's rough.
That's crazy.
And I think there's a different scene attached to it because I think this. Maybe I have the extended edition. I might.
Yeah, maybe you're watching the director's cut.
I think I am watching the director's cut.
The director's cut has more dog murder, of course.
How long is it?
7 minutes longer. So I think I do.
Nice.
So that might be a director's cut thing, not a Peacock thing.
That makes sense. Paul Verhoeven was just like, I'm showing him the whole thing. I want to show all the dog murder. Because, yeah, so director's cut stuff. So the veterinarian finds the murdered dog, goes and bugs him, and is like, I think, like, it's like, you murdered the dog? And he's like, no. And here, I've got
How
this
could
scene
you
going
think
now.
that? It's like, you murdered this dog, you fuck.
Hold on. I gotta find this line. Hold on. Here we go. So he's like, I was asleep. She's like, all night? And he's like, are you accusing me of something? She says, it doesn't make sense. A dog dying just like that? And he says, animals do die. And then he whispers to her, it's simply a fact of life.
Oh my God.
The fucking Eddie Redmayne and Jupiter Ascending ass.
Yeah. And like, yeah, animals do die. They don't throw themselves against walls. And then, so I think there's even more discussion about this before he goes, they're all like, he's a weirdo. And, but they're still fooled by the recording thingy. And then she goes back and, yeah, so that's all it is. It's just like, he's like, I'm even worse now than you might imagine.
That's odd.
That's so weird. So yeah, watch the Peacock version, everyone.
Yeah.
I think that seems like a director's cut thing.
Yeah.
Because it's a totally unnecessary scene that you might add back in because you feel it adds some value, but you don't need it.
No, definitely not at this point. If we already know he's the worst. But I don't know, man. I didn't direct the movie. He knows what he's doing, I guess. I don't know. But so now we're in the end of it, the actual end game, because now they call the general and they're like, General, we need to tell you about how bad we did. We did so many crimes you won't believe it, General. And also one of our crimes is doing his own crimes, so we probably need to work on that.
Yeah, they go to his house first of all, bizarre.
Yep.
And tell him about all this, and his reaction is just go back to the lab and I'll tell you what to do. We're probably going to fire you. Not, I'm arresting you immediately.
Yeah. And also,
do you have any idea how illegal everything you did is?
Well, but so we got to the other fun part of an Invisible Man movie, which we haven't really had to deal with, which, kind of props to the movie for that. How is he getting from place to place? Is he walking the whole way? He's not hopping in the back of people's cars.
I think much like in the Elizabeth Moss Invisible Man, which I said in that pod, the only logical explanation is that he is skitching.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think this guy is cool in 90s, so he might. Or 2000s, I guess. But yeah, because he's able to get wherever they're going. I'd like to believe he's waiting for buses and stuff. And he's like checking watches and getting on trains. And he just, boy howdy, he happens to be there. DJ, could you explain how this guy dies?
Yeah,
Mr. General Man?
He, the general decides to contemplate. So he, he tries to call, like, I guess his bosses or whatever. And his dang phone ain't working. It's like, how about that? So, puts a smoke in the old pipe, decides to go outside and investigate, and he blows some smoke to reveal the Invisible Man. It's like, oh, how horrifying. And then the Invisible Man savagely drowns him. Get
in
fucking
his pool.
wrecked. In his own pool.
Yeah.
So, and then he calls out to his wife. He's like, ah! And the wife's like, no! Doesn't call 911. She runs down just to kind of find him dead.
Well, she can't call 911. The phone lines have been cut.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, and they don't have cell phones.
Although
Damn
they do eventually hear about this, so it does get found eventually, right? Like our heroes.
Well, yeah, it's just too late.
I don't know. I guess she doesn't know what killed him, but I don't know.
He went for
I
a
guess
swim.
she thinks he just flopped into the pool with all his clothes on and drowned for no
to his
reason.
death,
Right?
yeah.
Like, you got to assume, and you also have to assume Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin, there's some handsome fellas, there's some attractive people. So you kind of figure her husband dies, right? And then she's like, uh-oh, something's amiss. And she calls the other general friends, and they're like, what happened before? And there's like 2 supermodels were just over. And they're like, oh, the Invisible Man crew? I think maybe. Show me their pictures. And then she'd find them, and then they'd immediately get caught. I guess maybe she was just upstairs not looking, but I don't know. She seems like she might, I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe be nosy.
she never sees them. She specifically only comes down after he has already ushered them out the door.
Ugh, I don't like it. I
don't like that my nitpick turns out to be wrong.
Well, no, I want a version of this movie where the Invisible Man's about to get away with it, and then this nosy wife figures it all out. And like,
she's the real hero.
yeah, she saves him, like, what's his name, the TSA agent, and Get Out. Just like I knew I could never trust those handsome scientists. But okay, so then we're like on full lockdown. We got to get an Invisible Man. He's out there somewhere doing invisible crimes. in here at this point. They're like, we're stuck in here with the Invisible Man.
Right, and then they're like, oh, it's go time. Like, we have to kill this Invisible Man.
So first thing they do is they exit by going through the elevator. But wait, what happens?
All of their codes have been deactivated.
Oh.
No. Like, of course. Of course.
Of course. And, I don't know, I guess maybe that's how it works. Maybe that's possible. Doesn't seem quite possible.
I mean,
but
in this movie, it seems like the way any of it works is how we say it works, right?
That's true. Figure you'd get an email. Your permissions have been revoked. But it's the 2000s. They probably didn't check as much email. So at this point, they're like, okay, I guess now we have to go kill the Invisible Man. Everyone, get your goggles or don't. Not too important, but here's what we're going to do. We're all going to stick together, except we aren't, and we're going to use little sensors. They have sensors to detect where he is that they originally used for rats, right, or something like that?
Yeah, because they were too small for the thermals, whatever's.
So they... sorry. So before that, he murders the other woman who we haven't talked about too much, who's mostly in the like upstairs deck. Because she goes home, goes back to grab something, and then he like strangles her with invisible piano wire, or whatever. Yeah. Again, maybe put on your goggles all the time, but sure.
So okay, Nando, here we go. Here's where we get to the part where you get to talk about how great of an Invisible Man hunter you would be.
Yes,
you're the captain. All right.
Yes.
So I want you to walk me through your Invisible Man strat.
I mean, it's pretty much the one they use, except, like, if I'm the captain, can I be Josh Brolin, like, in the field?
Yeah.
So he, as the Invisible Man, is able to trick them in a very stupid way. So they're in a hallway with their IR sensors. They know where he is, or their IR goggles, and they think they see him, but they don't, or something. Mm-hmm. They see smoke instead, and they're like, oh, he wasn't here at all. And it turns out where he was above them on beams, right? Or, like, on pipes. And then he's going to strangle Greg Gutfeld or whatever, and then he gets shot, and he drops him and, like, kills him. But, so, like, I guess I wouldn't let that happen. He shouldn't be able, the Invisible Man shouldn't be able to hang out on pipes that are so hot that when they're, like, shot, start steaming hot steam. But forget about that for a second.
Yeah, not only is he hanging out on the pipes, but eventually the steam itself goes shooting out directly into him, and he seems entirely unaffected.
Yeah, he's not happy about it. But
and he is, again, he is buck naked. There is no protection from this hot steam on his pale, fleshy body.
And dick and butt and everything.
On the dick and the balls and the whatnots.
Yeah. Ball. So, okay. So I guess another thing that our characters are going to do, which I forgot was an option until then, seal the room, kind of, right? You want to seal the room? They have that option. I don't think
But he has all the codes. He can override it if they do it.
Yeah, but how would they... He'd have to do it from the computer room. He can't do it from inside. Maybe he can do it from inside.
He does do it from inside. He's the one who closes the door.
Oh, does he? I thought Josh Brolin was like, close me in. But you're right, it is that. But, okay. So, wait, but how does he? Where does he use the codes?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He was invisible. I couldn't see him.
He closes the door somehow. How the fuck does he do that?
I don't know.
That's weird. Okay, so I guess closing doors is helpful. But again, like, I feel like if you're in a hallway and it's not that big and you have infrared glasses on, it should not be possible to hide, even if there is steam. But there's not at that point. But so, like, I guess it's that. I guess you just, I think before the girl from the lab, the first girl gets murdered, everyone would have goggles on and we'd all be like, I don't know.
But he's able to hide from the above, right? That's a problem.
But that's not where he was hiding when he killed her. And also, like, can he, though? I don't know.
Right, but you're saying after she's dead, right?
But I'm saying, so before put on glasses, afterwards, I don't know, just look up. I don't know, I feel like
you would get trounced by an Invisible Man.
Not in a...
It's so apparent.
I mean, I'd run into the same problems these guys do, where, like, he can lift you up by one hand and stuff, which is, like, the traditional Invisible Man problems. But, like, and his skin is bulletproof and fireproof and... nothing you can do can kill him. But before that, it's like, he's just in a hallway. You have IR glasses, and you have sensors, and you know what hallway he's in. When this happened in the movie, and they're like, he's in this hallway, my first thought was like, well, he's not. He's released an animal or something. and that's part of it. But it's not. He actually just is in that hallway. So, like, I don't know. I feel like that's all you need. I don't know. I mean, what else?
So you're saying the thing that explicitly doesn't work in this movie, it would have worked for you if you'd done it.
I would have looked up. He wouldn't have been able to hide in the rafters.
What do you... of course
you would have looked up at the hot steam pipe that is hot and therefore messes with your IR goggles?
Well, he doesn't... They don't even look up there, though. They only look forward because they never look up and look at pipes and go like, oh, it can't be there. That's hot steam pipes. Because if that was what was happening, the movie would have to be like, well, how is he on the pipes? They're hot. But because the movie can't tell us that, we have to assume that the pipes are working as expected and the pipes are cool. So... yeah, I think I'd be able to find the Invisible Man in here. But then they start splitting up like characters in a horror movie, and then it's like, you're really making some big Invisible Man mistakes, but that's just a normal thing. I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes these guys make that are pretty bizarre. Like, for instance, at one point, a character will hit the Invisible Man very hard with the big metal pipe, and then not hit him a second and third time. So, like, at that point, you're kind of running into normal zombie movie mistakes. I don't know.
To be fair, at that point, the Invisible Man had been set on fire.
Yeah.
And also ends up electrocuted.
Yeah,
so I don't know. In that situation, I would have been comfortable going, he's probably dead.
Yeah, Nando, how would you deal with a fireproof, electric-proof
I mean, that's a completely different question, and I don't know how I would. But I don't know. I just feel like later in the not later in the game, but Josh Brolin figures out fire extinguishers, and that's good. That's good Invisible Man fighting. But that also seems like step one Invisible Man fighting. You know, get those fire extinguishers, everybody. If we don't want to kill him. Do you think they want to kill him in this moment?
I mean, yeah,
they have the trank guns.
Right?
But I think they want to kill him. They don't have live ammo guns.
That's true.
But, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like the fire extinguisher plus infrared goggles, you can't lose.
And he does use fire extinguisher, like, pretty successfully, I'd say.
Well, yeah, but he shoots too many times and runs out of bullets. But if he had enough...
And then the Invisible Man physically overpowers him because he's the Hulk.
Well, and that's the other thing, too. As much as I like the gun for the Invisible Man weapon, I think gun plus wrench or something. Because the benefit of fighting an Invisible Man is if he wants to maintain invisibility, he can't be holding something. So, like, you automatically have a huge advantage if you have the goggles and something that you can smack him with. And the Invisible Man in this movie sneaks up on everybody holding stuff when he's using a holdy thing. But you should be able to just have, a couple things in your hands. Like you have the gun and the goggles and also a pipe or something.
But Nando, you forget that at this point in the movie, he has thwarted the goggles.
Right. But then, so later when he's using the... he runs out of gun ammunition, and he's just got the fire extinguisher. And it's like, this is where melee weapon becomes handy. But let's keep moving. So, I've successfully killed the Invisible Man a couple of times. But now...
Yeah, by denying what happens in the movie and making your own different Invisible Man who plays by your rules.
By looking up and expecting him to be in a place where he might be. Like, by being cautious. I don't know, these guys just don't have that much caution.
You're right. They're just going in reckless abandon, Rambo style. We'll get this invisible motherfucker.
I mean, they really are. Because then they start, like I said, Scooby-Doo. They all split up into groups to look for clues. The Invisible Man is able to sneak up on all of them one by one. So first he kills. So first he kills Greg Gutberg. Is it Gutberg? Whatever, Grunberg. So he kills him by dropping him onto a thing, onto like a big metal thing that snaps his head open. He's dead. And then the veterinarian goes to get blood for him, and then he kills her by tranquilizing her.
Well, he tranks her, and then he snaps her neck.
Yes, that's right.
And some possible, maybe, sexual assault, but he's like, nah, no time.
Well, and he also comes up... She comes up with to throw the blood at him so he can't walk through the room to get you.
Yeah, that was great.
But, like, what does he do to avoid that? Like, teleports.
Well, she takes a little while to open the first one, so I think he just snuck behind her before she did it.
Very likely.
Also, though, so she gets the last bag of blood she throws on him, and then it covers him so she can see him. A thing about blood is in the presence of oxygen, it dries very quickly. How does he get that off of him?
The same way that the Invisible Man in The Invisible Man gets the paint off him, just by running it under some water, you know?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Water
Yeah,
plus
right.
Invisible Man. I mean, he's got quantum skin. But yeah, no, it's pretty bad. Especially since she gets him in his hair. This is the first time we see his Invisible Man hair.
Yes.
And it's
That's
like
true.
spiky, he's not bald, even though the cap being a big plastic thing that you put on your head, like his mask would lead you to believe that he is bald, you know?
Yes, because the way they do the mold, there's not like weird hair.
Yeah, he doesn't have a big old bunch of hair under there, making it look like he's got, a giant head.
Maybe he wore a swim cap for that.
He's very careful about the appearance and stuff. I mean, it looks good. It's definitely, he's got like the bald Deadpool vibe. But yeah, he does have hair, so that seems like it would be tough to get out of. But yeah, he snaps her neck. She's dead. And yeah, he's covered in blood. So now we only have 3 guys. We have Elizabeth Shue, Josh Brolin, Science Dork. Elizabeth Shue.
I wonder who's going to die next.
Yeah. Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin, Science Dork, all rush in and they find all the blood. It's so much blood, and I feel
So
like
much blood.
they kind of figure out what happened, but it would be pretty funny to be like, oh my god.
Can I say the scene right before they run in did make me laugh, even though it's not supposed to, because Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin come up to Science Nerd and are asking him, well, where did Vet go? And he says, she went to get blood. She told me like I had to stay here with him or he would die. And then Elizabeth Shue just takes his pulse. He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
It's
was
so funny.
weird comedic timing on that one.
So like, okay, so then she is killed, right? Also, it's funny. The first character that's killed, the woman in the observation thing with Science Dork, they find her dead body and they like cover it with a sheet, as if they do funerals at the lab every couple of days from like dead Invisible Manning, I guess. Elizabeth Shue and Josh Brolin go to attend to Vet in the freezer where she has been left, while Science Dork, who is on guard duty, doesn't guard and then gets stabbed from behind. Now, that's your classic Invisible Man mistake. I don't even know where to start with this one. He's just going to get killed by visible or invisible men, because he's not
By
looking...
men, visible or otherwise.
Yeah, he's not looking for the Invisible Man. So, like, he dies in stupid horror movie way, which leaves Josh Brolin and Elizabeth Shue in the fridge. Also, Josh Brolin gets stabbed a bunch with this pipe or whatever. Or it's not a pipe, it's a crowbar, excuse me. Which... a
crowbar, which Kevin Bacon manages to stick straight through Science Nerd.
Yeah.
From the back, out his chest.
He's really strong. It's pretty stupid. She covers that up with duct tape, but then it turns out they are locked in this fridge, and it is down to -50. Do fridges lock like this in real life?
Walk-in fridges will become unable to be opened from the inside eventually, but for this exact reason, it takes a while.
Right? And like,
but then he didn't lock it with an automatic locking mechanism. It's just barred.
Right?
Although
why?
To keep the blood in?
Yeah, like
to keep the blood from escaping?
It's so weird. But I guess it's fine because it works anyway. Like it's not fine, but they get out, so this isn't how he kills them. But if this was how he kills them, it'd be an insane way for them all to die. She tries a couple times to use the crowbar to, like, break the glass window. I don't want to say she makes a lot of progress, but she makes enough progress that I think that's your way out, you know? She makes some scratches. I feel like you do that a couple more times, you'll probably get somewhere. But instead, she does
reinforced glass. I think it would take a lot more.
And
she's running out of time. Josh Brolin is dying.
That's fair. I mean, he's got all the tape. But so she makes an electromagnet instead, which is so much science. It's pretty good. It's pretty impressive. I'll give the movie that. I don't know if it works like that. Either of you guys know if it works like that?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, whatever.
If you could make an electromagnet out of a defibrillator and a metal bar, I don't know.
Well, could you use the electromagnet through metal to move another metal thing underneath it? I guess that's the part that I'm like, but I don't know, maybe.
How strong is the magnet, right? Like,
it's pretty good.
With a strong enough magnet, I think that's possible.
And
anything's possible with a strong enough magnet. You just have to
you'd be surprised.
So then while this is all going on, the Invisible Man is putting together his disguise, which is adorable. You guys remember what he looks like? What his actual, like, escape getaway outfit is?
Well, it's the same plastic mask stuff that he's been using before, except now he has his regular clothes.
Yep.
And he's got himself a little wig.
Yeah, where did he get the wig?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Also, he has Drew eyebrows on. He takes a pencil and, like, starts drawing, and I'm like, oh, he's going to contour his face so he doesn't look like such a weirdo. But he just draws some eyebrows.
Look realistic for everybody.
And then he sets in place a trap, a death trap, which is a pretty clever little thing. He puts some, what are those, like sulfur something or other?
He uses sulfuric acid to make nitroglycerin.
Yeah, and then he puts that in a in a centrifuge with a timer, so it's like a little bomb kind of. So then Elizabeth Shue is like, I'm gonna go kill the Invisible Man, Josh Brolin. She gets out, she uses this magnet to open the door. She lights a big trash fire, like a hobo, next to Josh Brolin. Now,
so he won't freeze to death.
Yes, but also I kind of figured this was part of a different plan that it's not, and I can't see how it's not. You know what I mean?
You're going to have to explain further.
So she lights a big fire, a humongous fire in this room. Later,
yes,
as a way to trap the Invisible Man in his invisibility, she will light another fire to set off a sprinkler system. I thought that was what she was doing here. And I'm like, what did you, like, what is these sprinklers up to? But also, she just starts burning him alive with the flamethrower, and he burns alive, like a lot.
Oh, he's dead.
She gets him, but...
Yeah, like, his clothes and the rubber stuff, that's melted into his flesh. He's not taking that off anymore.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, it's great. It's pretty cool. Kind of reminds you of, like, Alien or something like that. And, but then things start exploding, and he manages to rip all of these clothes and all of his burns, I guess, off of himself. And he escapes for like a fifth time into invisibility. And then she lets off the sprinkler system. And he's visible for another time, like again. And they fight, and she almost gets killed by him again. It's amazing how many times he manages to get so close to being caught and just not caught. But I guess this is the only hallway with sprinklers.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't see the sprinklers anywhere else.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Even after she's already set them off.
And then Josh Brolin saves her, and he's like, I needed to save you for a change or something.
Something stupid.
Something really stupid. But again, hits the Invisible Man really hard, does not kill him, and I think leaves the crowbar. Which I guess you don't need anymore if you think you've killed the Invisible Man, but I don't know if he thinks that.
Burned alive.
Yeah, and the Invisible Man almost kills them and electrocutes himself this time. So he's definitely dead now, right? Like 100%.
Yeah, and he's so dead that he's starting to become visible somehow.
Yeah. That's weird. I guess that was what the formula was missing, was like 10,000 volts of electricity and a lot of fire, because now he's like a skeletal system and like some organs. And then the whole thing is like a big climbing away because the whole lab is exploding. In the end, it's kind of stupid. And it gets even stupider when he shows up again and almost gets Elizabeth Shue. Now, if he's able to almost get her, that means he's pretty much been on their tail from the beginning of them getting on this elevator. Or, like, on the ladder. Everything else underneath them is destroyed. So, like, what the fuck is... I don't know. The movie's dumb. It's kind of funny.
It's so dumb, right?
Yeah.
Got you there.
Oh, it's incredibly stupid. And, like, these characters have the biggest advantage over an Invisible Man than any characters have had in the history of movies with an Invisible Man. They can see him with Invisible Man seeing goggles. And they know he exists. And they still all almost die, except for two guys. So... I don't know, man. I think I could still get this guy. It'd be tough. He's a clever Invisible Man, but...
That's what I'm saying. He's a genius.
But also, he's an idiot. He's so stupid. I think the hardest part of me surviving this Invisible Man situation would be all the elevator nonsense. They have a lot of upper body strength that I just don't think I'd be able to muster, and I think I'd end up falling into the flaming elevator shaft.
Well, I feel like you assume you would have taken care
that's
of
true.
the Invisible Man before it gets to that.
Right. I mean, it's very easy to defeat an invisible man if you just assume that everything you do works.
That's a good point. And I do, because it would. And that's all you need to know. I don't know. I mean, do you guys not think you could fight an invisible man? Come on.
I don't think I could fight a visible man.
Well, okay. Sure. But do you think you could overcome his invisible man advantages using your own, know-how?
Absolutely not.
You're out of your mind. You could. Anybody could. We've all seen these movies. There's so much clutter in my apartment right now that I could toss at an invisible man. We'd know where he is immediately.
My goodness.
Yeah. So
I have no faith in my ability to accomplish any task, no matter how minor.
I mean, well, that's your own, that's its whole own business. But I believe in you. I believe in DJ, all of our listeners. If there's ever an invisible man scenario, let your instincts, I guess the thing with invisible man scenarios is, and we see it a couple of times in this movie, an overabundance of caution is always good. If you think there might be a guy in a chair, check. If you think the invisible man might be a room with you, just go look under everything real quick. Lock doors, keep your goggles on.
See him.
But that's what you do,
What about when we get to the stage where the invisible man is now a weird muscle man?
Yeah.
That's his whole own problem. But I think if you are assuming that the invisible man has the same strength and capacity to win a fight as you, and you could get in a fight and it's 50-50 odds, one wins, one loses, I think you can with enough preparation, which doesn't have to be a ton, but just a little bit of awareness, you can eliminate the advantage the invisible man has.
You're already ignoring the part where every invisible man, his invisible powers also give him super strength.
Yeah, that is a problem. But
go ahead, Nando.
That's all I got. I mean, yeah.
Here's my question before we wrap up and move on to Rex. What would be your trump card against an invisible man? If I had this, there's no way I would get got by an invisible man.
Oh, those glasses, without a doubt. The invisible man heat-seeking glasses.
Well, then what if he turns the heat up so that the glasses don't work anymore? What do you do then?
I mean, then I guess, so if I don't have those, what's my next trump card? I think the fire extinguisher is a good place to start. I mean, the flamethrower is an awesome place to start, but I think the fire extinguisher is a reasonable place to start.
I believe the original argument was that if a invisible man came after you as you exist right now, that you could defeat him. You do not have IR goggles just laying around your house.
I mean, but I have sure, that's not my trump. Those are my trump card. But I think I could get up. I think I could start. I think the thing with Invisible Man fighting is you just throw stuff. Throw stuff everywhere you think there might be an Invisible Man. If this is life or death, an Invisible Man is after me and I know it. Grab, blankets, shoes, whatever. Just toss things. Figure out where he is. Get something long, like a pole or, like a lamp or something. Just something that gives you a slight reach advantage because he is visible now. And just beat him up. I don't know. But it's all about throwing things. Once you figure out where he is, you got him. Flour, coffee grounds. Those are some things I could throw right now. Sugar. Drano, probably. Soda.
Drano.
You know what? That's what I'd do. Well, I'm near my kitchen. I would shake up a bottle of soda and just spray it right at him. And then we'd get our Invisible Man. And he's got soda all over him, so he's uncomfortable, too.
All right, well... I hope that we can put Nando in an Invisible Man scenario so we can see what would happen.
I said this on Twitter, but I'll say this on the podcast too for anyone who doesn't follow me. If any of you out there invent Invisible Man technology, please, first thing you do, use it to come after Nando to prove to him that he could not defeat an Invisible Man.
I would love to have an option. I'd love to chance. I don't know how I could do it, but I'd love to try. Because I think I'd nail it. But I think we all would. I think the Invisible Man as a part of this whole universe of guys that are dangerous and scary. I understand what's scary about him, but he's easily outclassed by everybody else in all of these horror monster movies. I don't think I could kill a vampire. As well as kill an Invisible Man or a Frankenstein or a mummy or anything like that. I don't think he belongs in that level with the Draculas and your werewolves and stuff. And a normal guy's invisible, which is why they all have to give him super strength. But yeah, I don't know, man. They got to make more Invisible Man movies. That's what I say. I mean, they're gonna. Apparently, they're making a female Invisible Man movie, which is not the Invisible Man sequel that they're also planning to make. I know, but that is a thing that I read, and I still don't completely understand it. But I think
we're still not getting Dark Universe.
Oh, I mean, can't
Yeah, when's the Johnny Depp Invisible Man?
Oh God, if only, right? I think they'll definitely make a sequel to the one we currently have, but I'm pretty sure I've heard. I'm trying to find like the press release.
There are many people who wish that Johnny Depp would be an Invisible Man.
Oh, very, very good.
Get wrecked.
But either way, this movie is stupid, and I kind of enjoy it. And Kevin Bacon's really weird the whole time. He should have started a little bit lower. Otherwise,
nowhere to go.
Yeah, he's a creep from minute one. But it is a show about the most toxic work environment in the history of movies. I think you can make the case.
Yeah, you can easily make that case. It's very apparent.
We just made it. Even like Jurassic Park, I think like the thing with this one is like, yeah, you got Jurassic Park, terrible work environment, right? But really only if one guy decides to pull an audible and try to kill everybody. And that is not like, there's no point where everybody lets Dennis Nedry work and goes like, I think I trust him. He's a good guy. And like, I don't know. Yeah, this is an accident waiting to happen. But guys, what are we going to do next week? Do we know yet?
I think we know, right?
Do we know?
Are we not doing the one I suggested? That's definitely the one we should do.
Which one was that?
Unfriended.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah, I think that would be fun.
I'm not opposed. I just wasn't sure we decided.
Yeah, I had forgot.
You haven't seen it, Diggins?
I have not seen it.
Oh, it's going to be a real treat. I'm excited for you.
I saw the other all-online thriller movie, but not the horror one.
Oh, I like the thriller. Are we talking about Searching?
Yeah, it's a decent movie.
Great movie. Good. Terrible ending. The ending is so stupid for a movie that's so like kind of grounded and like, oh, this is what it's like. And then, yeah, I like that movie a lot, except for that part. But yeah, we'll do Unfriended. Apparently it's on Netflix, at least in the States.
It is.
But yeah, so now we've done almost all of the Invisible Man movies, besides like the original. I can't even think of another one they could throw at us, but I'm down.
Well, I was going to say, there's been many remakes of that movie over the years, I think.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
We'll have to do like Marriage Story, where Adam Driver dresses up as Invisible Man for Halloween. That'll be...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a fun. It's a fun costume.
Well, then we can get Adam Driver on. Wouldn't that be great?
He would be the worst Invisible Man though, because he's so tall. You'd be able to hit him with everything. I mean, maybe that would make it difficult because you'd be like, "Where is he even? Where in the room is he? Everything I'm throwing is hitting this man."
Oh, there's a version with Vincent Price, which is actually a sequel to the first Invisible Man movie.
That's cool. Yeah, like, I don't know. I mean,
the third Invisible Man movie is Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man.
Oh, yeah, let's do that one.
Yo, I gotta watch those movies. I've never seen them. They seem like a lot of fun. But, yeah, so next week we will do Unfriended. Do you guys want to do classic segment real quick? Let's talk about some things that we might recommend to the fine people. DJ, do you have something that's fresh and new and never been recommended on the show before?
Yeah, because no one recommended Hades on the show, right? Yeah.
DJ, you got
classic DJ.
You played yourself.
No, what?
Explain Hades to people that haven't listened to last week's episode yet.
Because I wasn't on it. They're like, I'm not listening to this.
Yeah, right.
Explain for all the DJ superfans out there.
I don't want to waste people's time too much. Hades is a great roguelike on the... Now, do you boys have it for the Switch or the PC?
PC. I don't have a Switch.
Ooh, okay.
I do have a Switch, but I bought it on PC.
I think... this is perfect. I'm going to recommend Hades for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, so original.
You bastard. Wait, is it better on the Switch for any reason?
I think the fact that you could play it on your couch with just kind of like hand-holding it gives it like an extra level of playability that I think is better than me having to trudge to my computer.
I'm in front of my computer all day anyway.
And I do play it on my TV a bunch. I probably play it on my TV more than on my Switch handheld just because it's so pretty and I like looking at the game. So it's a roguelike adventure game with a great story where you play as Hades' son and you're trying to escape from the underworld. But you keep dying because that's how those games work. I like when they take the mechanic of the game and make it like a part of the game. Like, this is why you keep dying and having to keep starting over. Like, Deathloop is doing that thing, that Bethesda game that's coming out in March.
Oh, yeah.
You mean a gameplay and story integration?
I like that. I'm a fan. Death Stranding, another example. No, just kidding.
What's that called? There's a name for that, right? Fancy name for that thing Diggins said? I can't remember. I've been watching a lot of game reviewers.
You're probably thinking of the opposite, the term that is the opposite, when the game mechanics are specifically kind of contradicting what the story is telling you.
Yeah, that sounds more right. What was that?
Because that is ludonarrative
Yeah,
dissonance.
that's it. Yeah. So it's not that, which is good.
If I can give another slightly fresher rec that I guess I've been like previewing, but
wait.
the bat.
Real quick, DJ, who's your
Yeah.
favorite character in the game?
Oh, that's tough.
Who do
I'm
you
like
like?
really new to the
Yeah.
game. Also,
we didn't do this last week because Nando hadn't played it yet.
Yeah.
So this is new content.
Hot and new stuff.
It's oh man, I like Cerberus a lot because he's a dog and he's a cutie patootie. I like what Poseidon's got going on. Maybe I'll give it to Poseidon.
He has fun energy.
Yeah.
I could see that. What about you, Diggins?
I'm gonna award it a tie. My two favorite characters are Nyx and Skelly.
Oh, Skelly. Yeah, Skelly's the right answer.
No. Well, DJ, I don't think DJ has met my favorite character yet. Where are you, DJ? How far?
I mean,
have
you
gotten?
can say the name, unless it's like a giant spoiler, like it's like I don't know.
I think
Hercules.
he probably has met your favorite character because I'm pretty sure I know who it is.
Okay, so it's what's his name? It's not Hercules. It's the other one, Theseus. He's
Theseus.
great. Yeah,
I've met Theseus.
Theseus slash the Minotaur is probably my favorite character. Favorite god. I enjoyed Dionysus. I like that I like that when you like find his boon, the sound that comes with it is like canned laughter from a sitcom. It's pretty fun. But
Also, his hangover boons are like the best shit. I love that.
I'm trying to think of what I won with. I feel like I've gone heavy on what's her name, Artemis, and had a lot of luck
I like
with
Artemis
that.
a lot.
But I also I feel like I end up with a lot of Ares and a lot of Zeus, and those kind of let you do whatever you want and then kill all the guys when you decide to, with your lightning or your doom. I like I like guys who give me some sort of effect where it's like when they kill you, you also kill them automatically because of God bullshit. Those are always handy.
I like Athena gives some reflect boons, which I very much appreciate. Like those are bomb.
Reflect is insane.
Athena's stuff is like wildly good, but I also find it kind of boring. So I get Athena, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna do really well this run. But,
Yeah.
eh.
I like to have an Athena, something like I'll throw her special, get like reflect on a special, or something like that, where I can use it when there's a level where just a million people are shooting me with purple balls, and it's like it's this, or I have to run around and stab them all. So like, I'll just reflect everything back and be done with it. But yeah, it does. If you like scale up with Athena stuff, you become borderline unbeatable. Especially when you get to like the very last levels, and it's like, it's just very, very, very helpful.
Have either of you like beaten the game?
I mean,
Yeah,
like
I've finished the main story.
Okay.
I finished the first run. How many times would you say? When do you know you finished it, Diggins?
You will know. It'll be very obvious to you.
Okay, so I haven't gotten there yet.
Now, I say finished, but you can keep playing the game, and there's things to do, and like other story stuff to do.
Oh.
I'm just saying I finished the main story.
Oh, okay. So you completed a run, or more than that?
No, you need to do more than one.
Okay. Gotcha.
get to the
I assume
point
there's
that
a
I'm
very
talking
clear,
about.
like, yes, I finished the main story.
Here's what I'll say. I saw credits.
Oh, okay. I
Okay,
have not seen
got it,
credits
got it,
yet,
got
so
it.
there's a little bit more there. But cool. Yeah, it is a very fun game. And if you're like me and you have no idea what a roguelike is, it's fun. I feel like there's a game that's gun something that I might try next.
Enter the Gungeon?
Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah, I hear that's like that, right? People like that
I mean,
game?
the gun is the best weapon in Hades.
Oh, no, I'm talking
Oh
about the
my God,
Gungeon
you
games. Yeah.
I know you are, but I'm saying, like, relatedly,
Oh,
Hades is a
incorrect.
roguelike,
It's the
and the
fists.
best weapon in... I mean, the fists are also really
Fists
good.
are dope. The gun's pretty fun.
I will say, and I've recommended this game before, but I'll kind of freshen it off. There's a game called Slay the Spire, which it's like a roguelike in terms of its randomized dungeon runs, but it's a deck building game. So yeah, it's fun. There's like way less of a story though, because it's just like here's some gameplay, but like
Here's a spire. Go slay it.
yeah, but like the cool thing where it's like this, but like with deck building is cool. So
I like it. All right. What
Yeah.
else you got, TJ? You had another thing.
So yeah, I was just the Bachelor started, and or the Bachelorette started, I should say, and I recommend every season for different reasons. I actually got my friend Lindsay to start watching this season, which is it's like fun. It's fun when you have people to watch with. But this season, I would definitely recommend. I don't want to spoil the thing, but there's like a big thing that's like fairly well known if you do a little bit of Googling. But
I feel like we've talked about it on the show before.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But I won't say because it's like like
now it's a
spoiler.
spoiler. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say that like the Bachelorette Claire sucks, and she's super unlikable. But it makes for great television. So, like, I would watch the season if you want to, like, root against the main character, if, like, that's your thing. Because she's horrible. She's, like, one of the worst recent Bachelorettes I could think of. Yeah.
Damn.
Damn,
It's
indeed.
Quite a statement.
I have, like, a weird theory that they're purposely giving her, like, a bad edit for a reason, but we'll get into it as I give my updates.
That makes sense.
This is not by accident. Nothing they ever do is by accident. It's very purposeful, and I think there's a reason for this, but I could be wrong.
No, from what I understand, that makes a lot of sense. And, yeah, I've heard from other people that are watching this season that they also very much enjoy it. So
yeah, I think this season's, like, going to be really good for several reasons. So I would get in on it. And you know what? Because everything's, like, totally new because they had to change how they filmed it, if you had never watched before, doesn't matter because all the formatting's different anyway, so... It's actually perfect if you've never seen it. So,
nice.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I got.
Diggins, what do you got?
I have just a quick rec this week. So I, as a child, played a video game on my Nintendo GameCube that I really, really loved. I played it over and over again, to the point that many of its sounds and images are kind of just seared into my memory. So its sequel, or rather the third in the series, is coming out soon on Switch. And I played the demo for it recently, and it was just such an intense blast of nostalgia, feeling these controls, seeing very similar images, hearing the sound effects with all the actions, that it was just impossible for me not to enjoy. I am speaking, of course, of the demo for Pikmin 3.
Oh,
Nintendo Switch.
I didn't even know you were. I thought you were going to say something else, kind of.
Yeah, I was thought you were going to say maybe Crash Bandicoot.
That's what I thought too. But now that you mention
game's
it,
already out.
Yeah, that one is out, so I guess that doesn't count.
Also, Crash Bandicoot was never on the Nintendo GameCube.
So
Fair.
yeah, that part I kind of was just like willing to give you a pass. Maybe you forgot, But I trust you, Diggins. I know you know your GameCubes, and you're not GameCubes,
Of course.
But
yeah. I really loved the original Pikmin. I played through it multiple times to completion because I just had so much fun with it. The third one came out on Wii U, technically.
Yeah, it did.
But nobody owned the Wii U.
That is true.
So
yeah,
all the good Wii U games are getting Switch ports, and it's Pikmin 3's turn.
I mean,
because everybody
it
owns
makes
a Switch.
sense because legit, no
Yeah,
one owned a Wii U. I was the only person I knew who owned a Wii U.
I actually did own a Wii U, but I never played Pikmin 3.
Okay.
So I'm very happy to have a chance to play it now. I played through the demo, which lets you do the first 3 days. Or I'm not sure if it's the first 3 days or if it's the milestone I hit on my third day. But either way, it's a pretty substantial slice of the game, actually. It took me like a couple hours to do. If you don't know Pikmin is a game where it's kind of like a strategy game in one sense, where you're playing as a character who recruits these little kind of vegetable people called Pikmin, who will follow you around, do whatever you say. If you throw them at things, if you throw them at a pile of rubble, they'll pick up the rubble and build a bridge out of it. If you throw them at a wall, they'll start attacking the wall to break it down. If you throw them at a monster, then they'll start attacking the monster.
You've all played Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, you know Captain Olimar. He's not in this game, but other people who are like Captain Olimar are. Anyway, yeah, so they do whatever you say. There's different varieties of Pikmin that have different powers. You can grow new Pikmin by bringing seeds or monster corpses to their little nest where it'll turn into new Pikmin. And the whole thing is just a big time management thing where you have a certain time limit for each day, and you have to gather up all the... In this game, it's mainly fruit is what you're looking for. Every game kind of changes what it is exactly you're looking for. And if you gather up enough fruit, then eventually you get to go back to your home planet and solve the acute food crisis that your planet is experiencing. So it's just, if you have any love at all for kind of time management, strategy, that sort of gameplay, I think Pikmin is really unique in the way it uses those mechanics. I don't think I've ever played another strategy game quite like Pikmin, which is maybe why it really made such a huge impression on me. But from all accounts, from what I've heard from people who have played it, Pikmin 3 is like an incredible sequel. I really enjoyed the demo. It comes out on October 30th. I've already pre-ordered it because I liked the demo so much. So I recommend checking out that demo, and if you like it, I can't unreservedly endorse the full game yet since I haven't played it, but I have a hard time imagining it's not really good.
Cool.
I will say, I played the original Pikmin, and the premise in like the original ones, like you crash land on this alien planet, and you got to get all the parts for your ship back, or you fucking die.
Right.
And I like cried because like my first run, wasn't able to do it, and I was like 12, so like I gave it another go, but it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, that game over if you don't do it it's tough. Not that I ever got it because I was good at Pikmin.
And you have to like read the journal entries about like oxygen's running low, I'm a fucking die, don't get to see my son.
Yeah, it gets pretty bleak.
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
I know, right?
The other ones are less like that. They're not strict time limits. Every piece of fruit you get extends the time you have because you're replenishing your food stores. So it's very unlikely that you will ever run out of time because you're constantly getting new time.
very good. I like games like that where I don't have to be sad all the time, but I like a little bit of sad every so often. There's some fun there.
Well, you only have to be sad in the original Pikmin if you're bad at the video game.
That's true.
That being said, you probably will have some Pikmin die during the course of any regular game, and it's very sad when they die. They make a really sad little noise, and then their ghost floats up and disappears, and it feels bad.
Yeah.
I prefer the director's cut where you watch the Pikmin slammed against a wall 1,000 times as it dies.
Oh, you do see them get killed pretty brutally.
Now you're speaking my language, Diggins.
You can watch them drown. You can watch them set on fire and run around till they burn down to nothing. You can watch them be electrocuted alive. You can watch them being devoured whole. You can watch them being crushed to death. It gets pretty brutal.
Nice. I like that. That sounds like a cool game for adults, and I think it sounds cool. I don't know too much about I've never played a Pikmin, but I hear good things.
I love a Pikmin. I'm excited for Pikmin 3.
Nice. I want to recommend something. I watched a couple movies this week, or like things, besides also co-signing Hades, obviously, because it's a lot of fun for the DJ, but not as far as Diggins. And the fists are best. I would recommend to everyone, so I watched 3 things. I watched the documentary Totally Under Control, which is a fun little walk down memory lane about how the coronavirus spread in America. It's a very interesting documentary. Absolutely worth the watch. It's, it sucks, but it's interesting because it's framed as like, this is when America got its first case. This is where South Korea got its first case. It's the same time. And then, Goofus and Gallant over here kind of like, they put up these things and America didn't. So it's kind of interesting. I watched the Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix, the new Aaron Sorkin movie. Quite liked it. I'm a huge shill for Aaron Sorkin in general. But I thought it was fun. I thought all the characters were interesting. Have either of you guys seen this?
Negative.
I have not watched it, but I know of it.
There's some really crazy, actors. One of the actors specifically, I didn't recognize at all until after I saw it. And I was like, wow, that guy's great. Eddie Redmayne, very good in it, too, even though,
Would you say he's better or worse
no,
than he is in Jupiter Ascending?
Not even close, although he does go off the deep end a little bit, but not nearly as close as, not nearly as far off the deap end as Creating Life.
Not nearly as good as Jupiter Ascending.
No, yeah, he needed maybe a little bit more Jupiter Ascending action, but he could have, so he could have used it, but otherwise, very good. Sacha Baron Cohen, obviously. Interesting performance. I like him as an actor, not doing Borat. I like him doing Borat and stuff like that too. But I enjoy seeing him and stuff. I haven't watched that movie, that show, The Spy. I kind of want to give that a look now. Last thing, I watched the movie. So did I? No, we haven't talked since I watched the Babysitter sequel. Have we? I don't think so. I think I had recommended the Babysitter twice, but not the sequel. I did not like it very much. But it does exist.
Well, that's why he didn't like it.
Yeah, I watched it the other day because it was another thing that I was like, oh, it's kind of fun. I remember this first one was kind of fun, and it had its moments, but I don't know. Can't put lightning back in a bottle every time. But I definitely think makes the first one look even better. Also, I've got this new thing where I watch QB Halloween 10 minutes at a time, almost like it is a Quibi. So I hopefully will be done by Halloween. And so far,
this is how you
not
get
a
your
fan.
Quibi fix.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of movie that belongs on Quibi, honestly. It's full of stars, not a whole lot else. Unintelligible accent. Just I cannot understand a word that character is saying. And it's frustrating. But some parts of it are funny. Steve Buscemi's pretty funny in it. I just like him a lot in general. So those are my recs. Yeah, anybody got anything to recommend? Not recommend the other thing. What's the other thing?
The plugs?
Plug, yeah. We're plugging anything?
I actually do have a quick plug. So even though shit's crazy this year, we are planning on doing Extra Life.
Oh.
Yeah.
When is it?
It's the week after Halloween. So November 7th, I believe. And the nice thing is that because it's not the same weekend as Daylight Savings Time this year, I get to enjoy Daylight Savings Time, and it's only a 24-hour marathon.
Ah, look at that.
So isn't that nice?
Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
But
Wow.
we will be hosting it. It's going to be a different format because the crew won't be all in the same locale, so we're going to try like a digital format. Some in-person games, probably like multiple streams, so we'll probably treating this year more like a buffet where it's like, if you want to check out this game, go to this stream. So yeah, it's going to be different, but we want to still keep everyone on the same team and, raise as much money as we can. So yeah, probably rope you guys in.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Sure.
Yeah. Well, we'll be different people by then anyway. That's post November 2nd or whatever.
You're speaking of further in the future than 5 minutes. The me of now will be dead by then.
As is...
Well,
and I think everyone is these days. It's a very healthy way to live your life, especially coming up on a couple weeks from now.
it's still fun to plan, so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I'd say definitely that sounds like fun. Keep an eye on our Twitter account and stuff, and me and DJ will tweet about it and Diggins and stuff. So there'll be information about it. Yeah. Diggins, do you have anything to plug?
No, I don't have anything right now.
All right. I do want to plug, besides videos, I think I'm going to make a video about, so I have a couple of videos coming out soon that should be fun. But I think it's just, I've wanted to plug for a while. I feel like we talk about it sometimes. Vote, people vote. Please, God, vote.
Yes.
Go to places,
Yes,
vote
definitely.
in person if you can, but don't put yourself in danger. It's very kind of, what's the word? Not like person to person, but judge smartly on your own, but vote. And
You can go to iwillvote.com to figure out what your options are and make a plan to vote.
that's a good way to do it. And then also look at your ballot before you go there. And honestly, I thought I was pretty good at this, but I was still like, I don't really need to look at my ballot beforehand. But then I did, and man, the ballot measure.
There's always.
Well, it was a rough
Yeah.
one in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia or whatever specific locale it was. But it was one that not even all sides agreed on. It was very confusing.
Yeah, there's always going to be some weird ballot measure. You should always check to be sure.
There's some real screwy ones kicking around this year. I was listening to, I think it was Love It or Leave It or something, and they were talking about some that are insanely misleading. So yeah, do a little bit of research, and yeah, that's always good. Besides that, yeah, watch Unfriended on Netflix or whatever.
If you want to get ready to suffer with us.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a good watch, and it's under 90 minutes. It's the best part.
Oh,
It's great.
Yeah.
That's always your favorite thing about any movie.
Is that why you didn't like this movie, DJ? It was perfect, except for it was a little bit longer than 90 minutes.
Part of the reason.
Oh, DJ, I can't hate on that. I understand it completely. It was longer
it's a
than
great
90
movie
minutes.
and it's long. I don't give a shit. I went in theaters to watch the Lord of the Rings director's cut. So yeah.
Oh, nice.
Remember theaters?
No, I never shall and never have. I've stricken them from my memory. You were talking about MoviePass before. I don't know what that was. Didn't make any sense to me at the time. Doesn't now. Also, that might have been in our bonus episode. Whatever. It's getting late. Guys, I have been at Nando View Movies on Twitter. It's wonderful to have the whole gang back.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm at Zippy by Day. Good to be with the boys once again.
Unfortunately, we will never be together again ever.
I mean, at this rate, America ain't doing us any favors.
But I have been at This Is an Odd Name on Twitter.
It's terrific. If you don't hear from us before, have a safe and happy Hubby Halloween to all of you. I
think it's Hubie.
I can't decide. So they released a song. Okay, so this really got me. They released a song, and the song kind of feels like it might be Happy Halloween, but it might be Hubby Halloween. It is Hubie in context of the movie because characters call him Puby, whatever his real name is, as like a dig because he's like a dork. But it got me. I thought I really knew, and then I watched this song and I can't decide. Either way, great movie. Don't watch it. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye. We love you.